It's the Bennington Show. Friday. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
I'm Ron Bennington. I want to tell people this. I can't. Chris is sick today, and he's in the other room, but he's refused to tell people that I'm performing next Saturday at the Fairfield Comedy Club, 2 shows. Go to fairfieldcomedyclub.com for tickets. That's right. Ron Bennington's returning to Fairfield.
Finally, Bennington has come back to Fairfield.
And kids, I want you to have fun out there, but let's keep it a Fairfield. All right? Because I will blow the whistle if I need to. This bed is on fire. What movie was that kind of rebooted that?
I think it was Angus.
American Pie was used a lot in.
It was probably, that probably what's got the younger kids involved back again with it. Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was Angus. Maybe I'm thinking of a different song that had a resurgence with that.
By the way, it could have been the same thing because some of these songs are just for sale. You know what I mean? Like if you want it in your movie, you got it. Normally, every song now ends up in an Adam Sandler film, and there's nothing you can do about it. I didn't realize that the other movies coming out. It looks like we're going to get TJ dropping in. He's right outside the door now. Got to stay on top of it, Christopher. I know that that's normally Vito's. Don't yell at people.
I'm not yelling.
I see your hands gesturing like that. Oh, I forgot. So anyway, Isle of Dog or whatever that is going to be out this weekend. And Vulture did another ranking of Wes Anderson film, and everybody's list annoys you, right?
But
no matter who it is.
But that one in particular, did you feel like it was almost purposeful? Maybe it's just because I felt very passionately about it when I saw it. Well, but yeah, I thought
we'll get to it later. But there's not a list that makes people happy.
Yeah, it's
right now I'm on the air, dude. Can we talk after 3 o'clock? All right, thanks. Peace. I forgot. I didn't even tell you guys about this. Monday, I'm going to do a show. I think it's called In the Shed with Bobby Kelly. So he says, and he lives in godforsaken town, right?
Yeah.
I mean, way up. So they want to send a car for me. And he said, we'll have you back before your show starts. Now, what's the odds of that?
Slim to none?
Yeah. So I guess, I don't know, it's going to be a 9 or 10 o'clock shoot because he does video. And we're smoking Cuban cigars. So by the time I see you guys, I may be late and dehydrated. Is there a problem there, Chris?
I had to use the bathroom. That's all. Everything else is great.
Oh, he had to use the bathroom?
Yes.
I swear to God, I thought you said I had to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because I did not see you move. Well, first of all, he can use the bathroom all he wants. He wasn't, booked.
Yeah.
But, Vito, I need you in that room because you got the cool head in there.
Yeah. Keep it calm, collected.
Yes. That cool head was plenty.
We understood what cool head meant. But you're not so yelly, so.
All right, so anyway, Monday morning, you guys, I'm telling them I have to be back by noon, but it's a Robert Kelly production.
Right,
you know what I mean?
We'll see what happens.
And he's doing a show from his shed, and it's sponsored by Patron. So it's like, a nice deal for him.
That's very cool.
But all the studio space in the city, and instead of you coming down, you're marching everyone down. Because you want to do the shed thing?
Yeah, I think I would say, hey, Patron, what do you think about a studio? Is this something you're interested in booking for us?
Yeah, but I think he really wants it in his shed. That's the stickler point for him. This bed is on fire. So later I'm going to tell you about this story too. When I was leaving, well, we didn't know Vito ended up. You're in an ankle cast.
Yeah, I take City Bike to work now, and that's how I get around. And I went to stop. I planted my foot down instead of falling, and it was just a really bad decision.
You were going to fall?
I was going to fall, so I tried to just plant my foot down.
Why are you doing the city bike thing?
I like it better than the subway. I don't like the subway.
Both Vito and Chris, I rarely take a subway if they can avoid it.
It's so hot and it's so crowded, and I sweat, and I'm wearing a jacket and I sweat already, and then you take off your jacket and you're pouring sweat. I hate it.
His mainly has to do with the temperature.
Yes. Chris, what's yours? Just being around others.
Another person taking a pouring sweat in the subway. What's your beef?
Oh, I just like to take a cab. I'm just a cab slut. I just love cabs.
Oh my gosh.
You're stealing a lot of money from here.
Cab slut.
Are you putting in that every day as an expense?
Like, yeah, every other day. Sure.
So this is money you're supposed to be spending on the show, but it's for your fucking cab life.
Because you're too sweaty?
Oh, no, that's pure laziness.
All right. I'm having a talk with Don.
Oh, God.
Immediately. Because I can't get a fucking, look, there's an empty fucking pen cup. But cab boy is cabbing around all day.
Or cab slut, I guess is who likes to be called.
All right, Don just wrote to me, listening, I'm on it. This is fucking bullshit.
Oh, God.
Chris. You blew up our spot.
This looks really bad.
Now he just screamed at me, why no goddamn pens? But they still bring out the empty cup. That's what makes me want to fucking kill this team. Like, we always bring out the cup, but they don't realize why. It had pens in it.
There was at one time, there was 100 pens in this cup.
There was either too many pens or not enough pens. And just look at the stacks of fucking paper over here. It's an unorganized fucking goof. You could go into some fucking wrecking yard, some junkyard, and they would have their organization would be better than ours. And all they're doing is grinding up fucking old cars. There's nothing for them even to organize. Bring in the car, we grind it up. Gotcha. Anyway, I'm not going to have time to tell my story. And it's a sad one.
I'm gonna remind you.
And I'm gonna remind you about the Wes Anderson. Are you going to his dog movie?
I think I'm gonna go. We'll see. We don't know if it's fart noise yet.
There was a whole thing on HBO or one of them, how we made the movie, and it still annoyed me.
I did see a thing that already. I passed an article that said. Cultural appropriation. People are concerned because I guess it takes place in Japan and there's lots of Japanese characters. And I'm like, oh no.
Oh, you're allowed to fucking use the planet as the way you want to. The lines are invisible, folks. They're invisible. Look, yes, Chris.
I was wanting to say TJ Miller is about to come in studio. TJ is performing at Levity Live in West Nyack, New York tonight through Sunday. Go to NyackLevityLive.com for tickets. And he's in Ready Player One that comes out March 29th. And he's in Deadpool 2, which comes out May 18th.
One of his a couple more big Hollywood movies
in the building. Yeah, Ready Player One in less than a week.
Yeah.
Very excited about that. The Deadpool 2 trailer just dropped this morning.
Yeah.
I've probably seen that over 20 times already. And it just looks so funny. And, occasionally Kate and I'll just smoke a little bit and just sit back and watch all the trailers for the upcoming movies. Mm-hmm. And I feel so lucky to be in movies that I'm also a fan of, like Silicon Valley, for instance, which is a television show, but Silicon Valley premieres Sunday, and I'm not in the season, but I'm a fan of the show and excited to watch it as someone who gets to kind of just not, because I don't critique myself really, but I will do very much that thing where as I watch it, I'm like, oh, I remember that day and that was happening during that thing. So it's very distracting. This will be the first time I'll really be able to look at it as what it is. And then another movie I'm really excited to see. Well, the next two movies that I'm in after Deadpool are Underwater with Kristen Stewart and then How to Train Your Dragon 3. And the script for How to Train Your Dragon 3 is so funny. They've gotten back, they've swung the pendulum. In the second one, it was kind of a little bit darker. And then the pendulum has swung back. They've oscillated to the comedy. So that's really, really fun. And, Underwater is this disaster movie where we're, tens of thousands of leagues under the sea, and then suddenly we got to try and get out of there alive. And I, of course, provide, the comedy in the film. But it was crazy to watch her work, her and Vincent Cassel. Everybody in that thing is good, but those two, when they say action, they just snap into a completely different person. Kristen Stewart was, I hadn't seen her in anything except for Twilight. So when they first came to me with the film, I sort of said, I don't know. And Kate hasn't seen, that's my wife, Kate hasn't seen any of the Twilights, but she's seen everything else that Kristen Stewart has been in. And so when I told her about the offer, she was like, you have to do it. You have to do it. I mean, she's so good. And she really, really is. And I mean, then I saw A Personal Shopper after that.
And that's an amazing movie, man. It's just, it's almost all her. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like alone.
And it's creepy, and you don't know why, and the ending is so scary and perfect.
Yeah.
And so I really, really liked that. And then she did this kind of film that went to Cannes Film Festival, and it was a short, and it's sort of more of the kind of stuff that Kate does. She does fashion. She just finished a fashion film in South Africa, and this was almost more like a poem done as a short film rather than really like a narrative. And that's not exactly my style. That's more Kate's style, but it was still, I think it took me a couple days for it to really hit how good it was. But I think she's got aspirations to direct, which almost all actors do.
Do you? Is it something you'd like to do?
No. Because it just takes your entire life away for Jason Bateman and I were actually talking about this on, Office Christmas Party, was that Wahlberg will never direct because he just sees that as two other slots where he could be in a movie because he doesn't have to do pre-production or post-production. Whereas Bateman, stars in Ozark and directs it. And so he spent 11 of the last 12 months last year in Atlanta. So he hardly even sees his family. And so I think, I do so much now that directing just feels, I'd rather do more stand-up, I'd rather I'm at Levity Live this weekend, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in West Nyack. And that was a big part of why I left Silicon Valley, is I just felt like I was in Los Angeles between 4 and 6 months a year. My wife is a mixed media artist. Her whole world is here. If she visited me in Los Angeles, it was kind of, she wasn't getting anything done. She was just there for me. And I felt like the show was getting a little bit cyclical and my character was a little bit extraneous. And so I wanted to do more stand up, I have a cool ass wife that I really like hanging out with, but, and I also just wanted to, I think to become a great stand up, you really have to, put in the hours, know? And so that requires, so I'm doing a national tour through the end of August and maybe beyond that. I was just in Hoover, Alabama and Naples, Florida, but also like Arlington, Virginia. And now I'm doing West Nyack this weekend. And then I'm off next weekend, but then I go to, all over Omaha to Denver, San Diego. So it's truly a national tour. And, I'm really excited about that. I love it. I mean, right now, I bought a slide trombone, and I've been using that in my act, and I have never played the slide trombone, never taken lessons, don't know anything about it.
Was there a reason? Was the trombone out of all the instruments?
I think I owned a slide whistle.
Yes.
Was high one night, and then I had a Canadian tour that started the next day, and I said, slide whistle, I mean, we gotta up this a notch,
right?
And so I went straight to the trombone. And I'm the type of guy that carries a train whistle with me at all times. I just moved to New York. I moved to Greenwich Village, so I got to take my first train to a gig, because I don't usually get to do that. I have to fly out of Los Angeles. And as the train was pulling out of the station, I couldn't help it, but I was like, and there's this guy in the car ahead of me, and he turned around and he goes, seriously? And I looked him in the eyes and I just went, yeah, seriously. When is it more appropriate to play a train whistle than when the train is pulling out of the station? And he didn't have an answer for that.
It would be odd if the plane was taking off and you did that, but the train is appropriate.
I think that's exactly right. Well, when a plane takes off, I do, I make plane noises.
Yeah, that's good.
But I use my mouth for that. Yeah. And I used to have a joke, but I like, how when they land, the pilot is always like, Delta Airlines would like to be the first to welcome you to, New York City JFK. Right before we land, I yell, "Welcome to New York!" So then he has to get on and kind of be like, what did you hear? He said it already. So now we'd like to be the second to welcome you to. But yeah, so the stand up is a lot of fun.
How much of that is planned? How much do you know what you're going to do when you get to West Side?
It depends, but like recently I kind of have 4 or 5 chunks of material. So and then the rest is riffing. And it's tough because people like to heckle me. I guess I just look like a person that you want to yell shit out at. Yeah. And it happens in the street in New York quite often. But I have to walk the line of heckling, and then I riff and also interact with the audience. But a lot of the people that yell stuff out of my shows, I think, are actually really, they're drunk and they're trying to help or something like that.
Right. They want your attention.
Yeah. And so what I do is I sort of recontextualize, what they're yelling. And if it ever is negative, like it's like, you fucking suck, or that wasn't funny, or something like that, I just recontextualize it and sort of say like, oh, I bet you would be the best father. Wouldn't you just, your kid comes home from school and is like, Daddy, look what I drew. Yeah, you suck. That sucks. So it's exciting. And it's also, I make a big deal right now about us ripping our attention away from these screens. We're just ingesting so much media, and when you're refreshing the news apps, like they just make you want to jump off a building.
Yeah, it's 24 hours.
And so what I say is I say, that's right. Now the news cycle is 24 hours. And so I make a big deal in my show of saying like, I really appreciate that you took your time to make a night of it and to come out and to see a live performance. And that's why I took my time, and instead of giving you 8 episodes of Silicon Valley, which is just 4 hours of comedy, I'm traveling all over the United States doing these 45-minute to hour and a half long sets, depending on how much they hate the slide trombone. And
some nights you're like 45. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. See, I wish I could have gotten off at 20. All right, here we go, Naples, Florida.
Yeah.
See you soon. No, they, audiences have been really, really great, and I'm playing a lot of places that I've never played before, and so that's a very new experience. That's kind of, I think there's a lot of people that just don't know that I do stand up, and so I think what's nice is people are, because I'm doing a national tour, people are starting to understand that not only do I do that, but I've been doing it for like 15 years.
Right.
And so I'm fairly proficient at it. And, that I feel like doing between that and, the films that I've been lucky enough to be in, or as Spielberg is calling Ready Player One, not a film, but a movie. And, between those two things, that takes up enough of my time that every other day besides working, I just want to enjoy New York, because I really, really, really love the city, and I fucking hate Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I really, really did not ever feel comfortable there, and I lived there for about 8 years. I don't know. And my wife and I have always been like that. We met in college in D.C., and we've just always been East Coast kids. I don't know what it is about, because I was born in Denver, but I don't know what it is. Like, outside of it, there is nice weather, and, marijuana being full on legal is pretty fun now. But outside of that, Los Angeles is just kind of mostly being in a car, and then every interaction that you have with somebody is kind of, not superficial, but it feels like there's ulterior motives maybe, or
It's an
you know,
industry town. It's a business town.
Yeah, and,
you know?
and all my friends and everybody I know and everybody I interact with is in Hollywood. So Los Angeles for me really is just Hollywood. And so the second that I was able to move to New York, once I got to that level, I just got the hell out of Dodge. And you know, Kate was actually living in Los Angeles at the time. And it had been our dream since college to live in New York City together. And so the fact that like we got a place here now is pretty fantastic. And
it's really fun.
Yeah, we still go back to Los Angeles and we rent a tiny little apartment there. Our apartment, not that our apartment here is very spacious either. But I think that this is just much more our speed. There's something about it. I'll just walk outside and I'm happy.
Well, that's where you live, right? You live outside. Yeah. That's why the apartments don't have to be that big, because you're crazy if you're sitting in your apartment.
Yeah.
You know, and pass out there.
Yeah. And you go, you know, if you're gonna meet somebody, you want to meet him for a drink or go have brunch or go have a great meal or something like that, or go to a dive bar or go to the park or something like that. But we're lucky. We got a little bit of outdoor space. And so that helps, because I still am, you know, I think Kate and I are both, she's becoming very famous in her world, which is kind of that kind of art world here and in London. But I still am a person, I've crossed the line now where not as many people come up and are like, can I get a picture with you? But for a while when I first moved here, that was like daily, every 3 blocks. And so a little bit of outdoor space helps me because I can be outside, but not be around people. But I rarely need that. I mean, I love walking on the street. I love like grabbing a slice of pizza. I love the spots that I sort of know, and I know the people there, and I go there over and over again. But I also like just like walking, you know, down 8th Avenue, and I'm like, this looks like a cool bar. And then you just go in there and they've got a pinball machine, and I'm in there for 3 hours, and it's fantastic. And you can't do that in Los Angeles. I mean, I could go on. We always lived in Hollywood, so that was a bit of a walking neighborhood. But, you know, unless you're on Melrose or you're in Hollywood, you can't walk anywhere. And even in Hollywood, it's like, you know, there's only so many spots. It's not that big of a neighborhood. It's Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard, and Franklin. And, you know, truly, it's probably, you know, the size of Alphabet City or something like that. So it's really not, there's not a lot to it. Whereas in Manhattan, also because I like to walk, like I'll walk up to the Penn Station area, or after I get off a train and I've been using my train whistle and I'm exhausted, I'll sort of check out kind of what's going on up there. I'll walk uptown for a little bit, and then I'll walk like 40, 50 blocks down to our place. I just, you know, I like that. And that, I think that's in some ways, it's weird. It's like New York is so high pressure, and it's so, I always say, New York will crush a man in like 2 weeks, whereas Los Angeles will let him kind of drift off over the course of 10 years. And then like a decade later, you're like, wait, what happened? Have I been in Venice the whole time? What's been going on? But I think there's this interesting dichotomy of people being so absolutely, you know, feeling the pressure, having to make rent, all that kind of stuff. But human beings, you know, are designed to walk. That's, you know, we're just walkers. And so I think you get this kind of strange, you know, dichotomy within kind of people saying, hey, I'm fucking walking here. You know, there's that. But then there's just also people that, you know, you walk through Washington Square Park and just everybody's happy. You know, we go down McDougal Street and we'll be hanging down there and like people are having a great time. So it's definitely, it's been an interesting experience, I think, for sure. I you know, I can't see myself ever living anywhere else.
Well, I think that's what happens once you fall into the city. And it is, you know, it's always odd here, too. You meet somebody, you end up talking to them, and you find out they've done all these crazy things, or people that they hung out with in the 70s or the 80s.
Seems like there's more of that in New York. Like when you're in LA, it does feel like everyone is connected to entertainment in some way or want to be. But in New York, there are so many different types of life and different types of success that happens here.
And the gallery scene is unbelievably fun.
It's great. And, you know, Kate's space, she has a installation right now in a private space near Washington Square Park, but her studio is kind of surrounded by three of the most important galleries. And that's three of the, 20 or 30 or 50 that are in New York City all over. I mean, the Brooklyn art scene is a really big deal right now. In Astoria, they're starting to have some sort of loft spaces where people are kind of, so, it's very much that. And then also I'm a stand-up comic. So going from place to place, here I can do 6 sets in a night, 10 sets in a night. I've got 4, 5, maybe 6 actually, but definitely 5 comedy clubs within a 5-block radius of where I live. So, and somebody said to me, because I have been playing the slide trombone for no reason, and somebody said to me, well, when you do a spot that's like 8 minutes or 10 minutes, do you use the trombone? And I was like, yeah, sometimes. And they're like, does the audience, are they ever like, why did you take so much of your time to like put together this trombone and play it on stage? But that's the fun of it, is that you can do, if I do 6 sets, by the end of the night, I've got, 5 to 10, maybe 15 new minutes that I can really hone and work on. And, that's been really, really good. And then also, speaking to what you guys were both saying, there's this place, New Noodle House, NIU, and they have the best dumplings. Their soup dumplings are so amazing. And the guy, Rich, who kind of runs the place, is a buddy of mine. And I was sitting at the bar, and this actually, it ended up being a father and a daughter, said, whiskey and dumplings, nothing better. And they said, and we noticed that you got Japanese whiskey. And we started talking, and they were sales reps for Nika whiskey, which is like a newer whiskey than Suntory or Hibiki and those ones. And it was just amazing that, you hear, well, why did you want to sort of follow in your father's footsteps? And then he was saying, well, actually, in some ways, I feel like I followed in her footsteps because she reinvigorated. And you get this whole story. And, you just from the common interest of sitting in the same dumpling house. Yeah. And,
it happens all the time.
Both drinking whiskey at around 10:30, 11 a.m.
Yeah, you have to treat, I think to enjoy the city, you have to treat the whole thing as a party. So when you stop at a light, you start to talk to people and you find out crazy things about the neighborhood or whatever. When you get here, you just see it as one entity. But from walking, every 3-4 blocks, you're in a totally different scene.
Absolutely. I mean, you can go, I think a couple of weeks ago, I just went to Chinatown and was just walking around there, just kind of figuring it out. And then, Kate said, well, the Halloween parade goes exactly around our area. And so does Gay Pride, and there's all these really fun, huge parties. New Year's Eve here is the best in the world. You know what I mean? Right. And in Los Angeles, it's so much more, well, what are you doing for Halloween? Like, what party are you going to? Or are you guys staying at home? Or what do you, and, you watch a parade go down the street, and then you go into every bar, and everybody's dressed up, and they're having a great time. And the other thing that Kate and I always talk about is that in Los Angeles, if you go to a restaurant or a bar and you end up kind of feeling like, ugh, I don't really want to be here, you got to get back in the car. You got to get an Uber. It's going to take 15, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour of traffic to get to the next place. In New York, you walk into a place, you're like, this sucks. You're like, all right, fuck it. Let's go next door.
Literally next door.
Yeah.
Well, the comedy clubs and the gallery scene remind me of the same thing, because you don't know what, you just walk into a gallery and you might end up seeing somebody you end up following. For a long time.
Exactly.
But you don't know when you walk in, but it doesn't even cost you any money. You get to, and then sometimes you go in and you go, wait, you guys got 15 Basquiat's here? And they're like, yeah.
It's incredible. We went into, we'll go, you'd have to make it a destination in Los Angeles. And Kate all the time will say to me, ooh, this is a really cool gallery. And I wouldn't have even known it was a gallery. Right. And then we walk in there and they have an original Warhol. But then, and where Kate is, she'll say, oh, and I met this person, at this party over here, or there's an artist that we're friends with named Bradley Theodore, at BTH on Instagram. And he's just amazing. And he's been so supportive of Kate, and she's been so supportive of him. And so you meet these really talented people because they all came here and they're still here because there's so many people that just get, and my sister lives, in New York, kind of like in the East Village. And, but she's at that point, cause she's also a comedian. She's at that point where she has to move to Hollywood or it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think she's kind of coming to grips with that because she's realizing how different the cities are and how much better this city is and how much more she likes it. And cause she started here, whereas I started in Chicago and then went from Chicago to Los Angeles because I got on a television show called Carpoolers. And so, I went where the work was, and she came to kind of study at UCB and do stand up. And she ended up touring for UCB and being in some commercials, but that's about all that you can do.
Yeah.
Whereas in Los Angeles, you can do commercials until you land a pilot, and the pilot pays for, that year.
Right.
And now with the way that everything works, there is no pilot season. There's just like a constant stream of Amazon and Netflix originals and just all this stuff that, again, I really, really feel strongly that in a post-religious, post-meaning society, time is the closest thing that we have to a deity. So to spend time kind of with your eyes not glued to a screen is, I think, a really healthy thing. And it just makes people happy. I get so many people after shows, online for the most part, kind of saying, that was so fun. Like, my wife and I haven't had that much fun in the longest time. Or I get great Facebook messages that are just like, my son just turned 18 and he's been undergoing chemo. And so we surprised him with a show because he loves you in Deadpool and Silicon Valley. And so we brought him, as a surprise for his 18th birthday. And he just loved it, and he won't stop talking about it and quoting it and saying how, silly this part was or what he liked from this part. And you just don't really do that as much, when you finish an episode of Walking Dead.
Right.
It's not as visceral. You're not there. You make a night of it. And that's what I tell people also, is I'd say at the early show, well, actually at both shows, but in West Nyack, I'll tell each of those shows, especially Sunday, because I love people that go out and drink and see a show on a Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday is a whole different animal.
I love those people. But I tell everybody, I say, and this is that night where instead of ordering a pizza and starting the next, Netflix show that just came out, go out after this. Go somewhere. Go have drinks.
Break the trance. That's what you got to do. You got to break the trance.
Break the trance is that's a perfect way to put it. Yeah.
Because it's so easy to fall into it. It's so comfortable. But then before you know it, months or years have passed and you've just been following through this thing. Yeah, man.
And I mean, I think that there was a time when The Sopranos and Breaking Bad, and there were these cultural touchstones. I haven't seen Walking Dead, but I think that for a lot of people it was that. And now there's just so much that if I tell somebody like, oh, have you seen Ozark? They're like, oh, no, but I heard that's good. But have you seen this? And I'm like, no, but I've heard that's good. I feel like that's most of my conversations.
There's a lot of them.
You're searching for someone who's seen the same shit you have so that you can have some sort of common interest.
Yeah.
And, and I think that I really got irritated when Netflix just started playing the trailer for whatever your cursor was on.
Yeah.
And then as soon as something is done, it says this next thing is playing in 3, 2, 1. It went from feeling like a really cool, convenient thing to be able to stream something whenever you wanted to just like a drug.
Right.
They're just drug dealers, and they're trying to keep you in front of that screen so that they keep the money coming in from your subscription. And so I really don't like that. Kate and I lately have been doing this thing where we're instead of kind of poking around on Netflix or even Amazon or anything, Crackle. Is that a good reference?
Yeah,
Crackle.
yeah, there we go.
And instead of doing that, we will go through all the John Hughes films. or watch All the Thin Man with William Powell and Myrna Loy, and go. So we'll pick a director or a genre, or like or 2 days ago, whenever Nor'easter was, which the media made us feel like the world was going to shut down, and then it was just a flurry.
Just a nice
flurry. And we watched Ghostbusters 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And we hadn't seen that in 15 years or something like that. And it's the greatest. That was so fun. So to revisit stuff for me is lately what Kate and I have been having fun with, rather than trying to discover something and then search out someone else who's discovered that.
And Ready Player One is kind of about that, of like all these things have been there. And Ben Mendelsohn was in the other day, and he said,
that's right. That's what I heard. He was
how much did you catch? And I'm like, I don't know, 10%. I mean, it was just
he's
whipping.
coming at you with like Easter eggs, and I haven't read this, but Spielberg explained kind of the fascination with the 80s. So I really want to read that. But, I read the book. Have you guys read the book?
No, I didn't read the book.
You guys should buy the book, because the book you're going to speed through it. My wife is sort of the smarter, more cultural one. So she read it in like 3 days, and it took me about a week and a half. But you cannot put that book down. And then from what I've seen of the movie, which is actually less than some of the people in this building, it is absolutely a wild ride. It's like a return to the Goonies, Back to the Future stuff. And I talked to Steven Spielberg about, being self-referential in this. And he said that was a thin line to walk. I always call him by his full name, also Steven Spielberg. I'll be like, Steven Spielberg, thank you so much for having me in your movie. And Steven Spielberg, I just love the book, so I just can't wait to see the film. Steven Spielberg. And he said I had to walk this line of not being too self-referential, because I was so prodigious during that decade.
Yes.
But also, being honest about the effect that these movies had on people and how much people love these films. But it was, that was a trip working with him, because I kind of know him. His wife's name is also Kate, and she's also an artist, and he produced the first television show that I was in. Mm-hmm. So he's always, for some reason, I don't know why, tickle his funny bone, but I do. And the story that I've been telling lately it was the strangest, most wonderful moment I've had in Hollywood. And it was that, well, first of all, you can really tell why he's such a good director, because he is so positive and his energy is so childlike. So that's why I think he does so well with children. But I mean, he'll come in, he'll say hello to everybody. And then on the first day of filming, he was like, okay, we're making movies. We're reliving our childhood. Let's do it. And then he never says anything negative to an actor.
Yeah.
So when you're acting, he'll say, he didn't give me a lot of notes because he doesn't think, and it's not true, he's actually quite funny, but he doesn't think that comedy is really his wheelhouse, and he trusts me. So a lot of what I was doing, he was just kind of like, okay, I got to trust you. That's why I cast you. And, but he, he'll say, we reshot this one thing that he just wanted to try again. And when the notes that he was giving me was like, okay, a little more color to the voice. Okay, a little louder. And now faster. Let's try one faster. And I would do each of these takes, and then he'd get what he wanted, and he'd go, oh, that was great. That was absolutely, print that one. Will you print that one? By the way, we're shooting on digital, but he's like, print that, circle that one. That was perfect. Okay, let's do one more of those. That was perfect. So do another one of those, and then do whatever you want. But make a note on that one, because that one's, so you feel like you're the greatest actor on the face of the planet. Yeah. And so the story that I was getting to was that, so he's a bit of an odd duck, and he really is brilliant. He said to Kate and I, he said, I've been watching Witness for the Prosecution lately. And I said, oh, is it good? You just saw it? And he goes, no, I've been watching it. And so that means that when he watches a movie, he watches it over and over and over again. And then we went and watched it, and we came back and we said, hey, we watched this and it was really good. And he said, Really? Why? Just because I mentioned it? Thank you. That's really, really sweet of you. Don't you love that tracking shot where they come into the courtroom? So you really do see that he memorizes every single. Yeah. He's kind of, I don't know the word for it, Asperger. He's on the spectrum a little bit. And so one of the other things he does is when it's not quite working how he wants it to, he'll actually operate the camera. And then if that's not working, he'll go, you know what? He's always slapping his hands. You know what? I think this is a Cheetos moment. And then one of his assistants will run in with a bag of Cheetos. In this case, it was crunchy Cheetos. And I think this is why I'm friends with like Wahlberg and Bay and him, because I tease these guys. I don't think anybody kind of jokes around with them or teases them because they're intimidated or they feel like the person will be upset or find it disrespectful. But I kind of think of it as like I'm a jester, you know, so these very powerful people in Hollywood, it's okay to tease them. And so I said, Cheetos moment, huh? Crunchy or puffy? And he goes, crunchy. Oh, yeah, not puffy. And I was like, good, because I was going to walk off the set if this was puffy Cheetos. And he ate the Cheetos, okay? And then he got the shot right afterwards. And I said, wow, so that really was a Cheetos moment. And he said, yep, sometimes it's a Cheetos moment. And then I was watching Mendelsohn, who you guys saw as like, on camera is one of the most psychotic, scary people that I think is working today. But off camera, he's just like the most
cool
fun-loving,
Aussie guy.
great. He's just the greatest. And so I just went in to watch him work because I think he's really, really good. Yeah. And it happened again. There was a Cheetos moment, and Spielberg says, "Oh, all right, I think this is a Cheetos moment." And I said, "Oh, it's a Cheetos moment. Cheetos moment. Let's get Cheetos in here and maybe an A&W root beer," because he loves all things Americana. And he said, bring TJ a bag of Cheetos also. And so they brought me a bag. And so we're both talking and they're moving the cameras to a different shot. It was the strangest moment probably in my entire life, except for when Kate said yes to marriage. And I was like, wow, I just married up. And so we're standing there, both eating Cheetos, talking. And then we're quiet for a little while because he gave some note to his DP. And then we're both kind of eating silently. And he looks at me and he takes some of the Cheetos out of his bag and he puts them in my bag. And then he just kind of looked at me and I didn't know what to do at all. So I just slowly took some Cheetos from my bag and put them in his bag. And then he goes, there. Now we're Cheetos brothers. And he walked away. It was the strangest thing I have ever been involved in my life. But I'm Cheetos brothers with Steven Spielberg. How many people can say that?
That is unbelievable.
I feel very proud and lucky. Very fortunate.
All right, TJ Miller is performing at Levity Live in West Nyack, New York tonight through Sunday. LevityLive.com for tickets. Go break the trance tonight. You're gonna
break the trance. I love that. I'm gonna start. Do you mind if I start using that?
I love it. I love
it. Break the trance, and there's still tickets for the first show. Second show tonight. I'm talking about tonight. Second show is selling out, so get your tickets as soon as you can, and be those people that come on a Sunday at 7:00.
Yeah.
And show up to work on Monday smelling like gin. When they're like, "You smell like alcohol," you say, "You know what? I smell like fun or risk taking. I smell like I broke the trance."
All right. See you next time, buddy.
Thank you.
I was TJ Miller. It's like pulling teeth with that guy. You know, you're just trying to get the information.
I mean,
well, we're going to go to his wife's gallery, too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's really cool.
Who was I seeing? Oh, the latest thing Jim Carrey painted is Kushner now. It seems like he's going through the whole gang. And then there was a thing last night that Rosie is just painting Trump.
Really?
Constantly, yeah. We're in a wacko world.
It's interesting that it's like taking the form of painting too.
I don't even understand it.
It's like painting the Scream with the panic attack. It's just like, this is my nightmare. I have to work through it. Look, there's Rosie's.
Her shit's weird, right?
Yeah.
And then it's probably on the same thing too. the Kushner painting, but he has this building, the 666 building in the background. Of course, that looks scary. But yeah, a lot of people are painting. Hey, we got to take a break here, Chris.
Yeah, we should break here.
I got to tell you, every once in a while, like, I would just look up to check on you, and you look so sick today.
You do.
You just look, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, you look awful.
Yeah, I feel awful.
How does that keep happening to you?
I don't know, but yesterday I just had like weird fatigue. I was like, I wonder why I'm so tired. And I woke up today with just congested and my immune system.
Are you eating well, Chris? Maybe you
No.
need something fresh. I want to talk to you, if I can, for just a second.
Okay.
And I'm so glad. I mean, this worked out perfectly. But I want to talk to you about HelloFresh, because I know you order out a lot. And by the time you ordered takeout, you're already ravenous. You find what you want, but after tax, delivery, fee, and tip, the cost of your meal doubles. And you still have to wait another 45 minutes for your food to arrive. So you end up snacking.
Chris, with HelloFresh, you can prepare and eat home-cooked meals for less than $10 a plate, long before any overpriced takeout would arrive. Just go to HelloFresh.com, pick out the recipes you want. They're delivered directly to your doorstep every week with a special insulated box, along with easy-to-follow step-by-step instructions and full-color pictures.
Chris, each HelloFresh box includes fresh, seasonal ingredients that are perfectly portioned so there's no waste. Just delicious meals that you can make in 30 minutes or less. And for a limited time, you can get $30 off your first box when you go to HelloFresh.com/raw. Plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/raw for $30 off.
Chris, write this down. HelloFresh.com/raw.
Bum, bum. Oh, now they're saying Trump is going to send. He threatened to veto today, but he didn't do it.
He threatened veto?
You don't want to threaten veto.
Not anymore.
Somebody told me that it was Louis J. Gomez that hurt your ankle.
No, it was a self-inflicted injury on a bike. Nothing to do with Louis J. Gomez.
So you're self-hurting yourself.
No, I'm not self-hurting.
That's a cry for help.
Oh, I wanted to ask you about this. So Pete Davidson did Queer Eye, right?
Oh, yeah. He
And
did a segment with them, right?
Yeah, I didn't see it. It's up on the iBang. Don't even go to the video. Where's the pictures of him? Look at this fucking coat. This fucking coat is the coolest coat I've ever seen in my life.
I've never seen Pete look so stylish.
Well, he does it. His haircut here is a great look for him.
Yeah. It's a
But that fucking coat is out of this world.
It's really nice.
So I was debating a friend of mine about it because they're like, oh, I don't know. I don't like it.
I love it.
I'm like, you're kidding me. That fucking coat would be worth the whole episode for me. And when you're tall and thin like him, you get to wear a lot of clothes.
You can, yeah.
But there's a lot of clothes that you also can't wear. And that's
Really?
his normal look.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Where he kind of dresses like a kid, but he's too tall to be a kid.
Yeah, he does. He wears like a lot of like baggy pants, and then he'll wear those shoes that look like the Back to the Future shoes. I noticed that when I wanted to go see him SNL.
Yeah.
It's like he came out, and I was like, he's wearing the Back to the Future.
A lot
shoes.
of those kids wear the Back to the Future shoes now.
They're like,
Look.
And they think they're fucking dressing
Look
up.
at that still of him. Just the still is fine. That's not a good. That's not a good look.
No. But this here with that fucking green and blue,
stylish.
changing his hair up a little bit, it's getting a little less Staten Island-y. I hope that he keeps this Queer Eye with him at all times. I haven't seen the new show. Have you?
I have watched the first 2 episodes.
Uh-huh.
The first episode is so good. I was crying like a baby by the end of it.
Really?
Like a baby. It was so good. Now, I was a fan of the first series, but this is like they're able to do a bit more, push the envelope a bit more. Well, first of all, it's, they're able to curse, so obviously that's different. So they don't have to just do like the tongue-in-cheek gay humor.
Mm-hmm.
They can be blunt sometimes, which can be funny. But I think that they really found what was amazing about the first series, which is like every once in a while you would get sometimes it's just like, oh, look at you, you're sloppy and your beard looks terrible, like your wife's never gonna love you, and then they fix them. But once in a while they would get to this thing where it would be like a breakthrough moment, and I think that's what they're trying to do
all the time
all the time in the new series.
Well, they were the ones that taught me, and I didn't know this before, that straight guys shave too fast. And I think every guy tries to shave as fast as he can.
Yeah, they would always be watching the guy shave in the video and screaming. Like, oh my God, no, stop doing that. Because they would just be like quickly just that sound against their face.
Yeah. I like to shower and shave at the same time. I feel like it, cuts a little fucking time off.
Yeah.
And you get the hot steam from the shower. They don't think that's a good thing. They think that you should be in there particularly doing it.
In the mirror, so you don't miss any spots.
Now, you know how you keep the hot water going when you're shaving?
Yeah.
Neither one of you guys shave. Chris was even supposed to do the mustache bit, which would have been fucking amazing by now. And instead, he and Vito are looking back exactly the same.
It's so depressing because I wanted that stash so bad.
Well, the thing is, we didn't even ask for the contest. I don't even remember what the bet was.
There was originally, I feel like, a different bet. Then the stash was on the table. And
milkshakes.
No, that was the second. That was
there was something about you have to live on milkshakes.
Yeah, that was
your only beverage.
And that was an option to get out of the mustache.
Yeah, but what was
they
the
chose
bet?
Mustache.
What bet did he lose?
The Godfather trivia against my mom, Leslie.
That was a big one.
That was as big as we get. That's why we're not doing more fun stuff. You just didn't want to have a mustache, Chris?
I trimmed it. I should have just kept it going with the.
But you didn't even try to make up. You still fucking going back to the Vito look. You never even thought to yourself, how can I make this happen? How can I fucking earn? Look at how depressed.
I know.
Because I feel like his beard is different than mine. Where I luckily have a beard that grows on my face. His beard doesn't start until the neck.
You're calling it a neck beard.
He has a complete neck beard. That's the only thing. I don't mind being compared to Chris ever, but the one thing is his beard disgusts me so much that I don't like my beard.
Do you know that he's wearing a little ankle fucking thing now, like you?
You're wearing an air
Oh my God.
Now, fucking Vito was bragging to me about this, that he was going to get hospital grade ibuprofen.
Yes.
So he's right away, you're talking about like if you were talking about an opiate, and you're getting Advil 3 is all you're getting.
I got the hospital grade stuff last night, and I felt so much better when I woke up today. I love the hospital grade ibuprofen.
You seem like you're worse on your boot today.
Fix you though.
It's mostly cut.
It's not, it just numbs the pain a little. It makes it easier to walk. I was fine today until I took a step back on the rolling chair, and that fucked me up a little. But I'm good now.
The rolling chair. Bum, bum, bum. All right, let's go to this Vulture Wes Anderson thing. Everybody's in a weird mood today. Have you noticed? We're in a strange mood. We still got a dish later.
Maybe it's because Chris is sick and throwing us all off.
I can't stand it when that little baby is sick.
I know.
It really makes me feel bad.
It's so sad. How does he is a sickly boy.
He is very sickly. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, think about this. In the last couple months, how many times has he been sick?
Did you find the ring or dish that you needed while Chris was away?
No, I still need the ring.
All right, so we'll just read that in the middle of this break.
Yeah.
They were all breaking down. Chris was nowhere to be found.
There was full panic.
Was building something. Look at him yelling. Look at him yelling. At who are you yelling at?
Jen.
I was talking to Jen.
I see a rage.
I talk too much with my hands.
I would go into court and say he rage attacked Jen.
Yeah.
Jen, was he yelling at you?
No, that's his talking.
Shit.
Why? She is like an abused woman.
She really is.
And you know what? It also looks like you're wearing a Star Trek shirt. Very, very futuristic. Very futuristic. And look, she has pockets. You don't always, women never get pockets that low.
It's great. It's great to get extra pockets.
Pete Lee taught me that if you take a woman's dress and put pockets in it, she'll love you. I would never dream of doing that to a woman. Here, I'm going to take your favorite dress and alter it without you knowing.
You ruined it. This one wasn't supposed to have fucking pockets.
That's why he can't keep a relationship. For all the bragging he does about being a good guy and liking women. By the time I was Pete's age, I had kids moving out. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so let's go through this vulture list. Gail, you're going to see the Wes Anderson movie this weekend. Are you, Vito?
Yeah, I'm going to see it.
You're definitely going to see it.
Sunday.
I know, Chris, you're not, right?
No, I'm not going to say. I never saw Fantastic Mr. Fox. That type of animation weirds me out. I find it unsettling.
Stop action.
Yeah, stop
action.
motion. Stop motion.
Stop motion.
I just feel like it's something for children.
Yeah, but I still think that.
And then I read a review that said you couldn't take a child to this.
Really?
Yeah, there's some uncomfortable moments. Isle of Dog. All right, now with this list, there's only 8 films?
9.
9. And well, you're counting the
new
stop
one.
motion. No, the old stop motion too.
Yeah, they're both in there.
Would you put that in with the list of his films?
Yeah, I guess I would, but
Then why not put in a postcard that he sent to a friend of his? Now, would you start from the bottom or the top of this list?
I say let's start it from the bottom. Now we hear.
That's a really nice reference point. That's what we like in life. All right, started from the bottom. Now we're here. Started from the bottom. Now the whole team here. All right, what do we got at number 9, Vito?
Number 9.
The Darjeeling Limited.
The Darjeeling Limited.
Now I know that this wouldn't be a top tier for me, but there's no way that would be the last film either. I don't think.
You enjoy it?
I enjoyed it.
It was one of those films a lot of people didn't like the first run through and then started to like it more as it went. So that's not your bottom. Before we make up your list, let's just keep going. What's next? 8.
Bottle Rocket.
That's ridiculous.
What?
It's just trolling at this point.
Trolling. Vulture, they do trolling. The fucking with our Colin Vulture. Go ahead.
Number 7, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
God damn it.
Zissou.
Have you seen it?
I have seen it, but I don't remember how to say the name.
It's the whole movie, you know. All right, what's next?
Moonrise Kingdom, number 6.
Okay.
See, the problem with him is he's made a lot of good movies.
I know.
If Moonrise Kingdom is your number 6 movie, you've fucking done a masterpieces. Go ahead.
Number 5, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Ridiculous.
Hi.
Number 4,
Hello.
Number 4, Grand Budapest Hotel.
Again.
A little high?
Yeah.
Number 3, Isle of Dogs.
No. We have no way of doing this, but that's ridiculous.
This is bullshit, this list.
All lists are, Chris. That's the point.
This one especially.
No, all lists. Anytime you make up a list of Beatles songs or Scorsese movies, doesn't matter what the list is, everyone else is pissed.
Number 2, The Royal Tenenbaums.
Okay.
And number 1, Rushmore.
Now, Gail, would you want to start from the top with your or the bottom?
I'm going to start from the bottom.
You start from the bottom, now you're here?
Now I'm here. All right. I am going to put, and I'm taking Isle of Dogs out, obviously, because I didn't see it. So that's just off the list.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put at the bottom, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Of course. Now, again, that's why I wouldn't even put these on the list. And the Isle of Dogs is going to go down at the bottom, too.
Yeah.
Because you're making...
TV.
You're fucking playing with stuffed animals, Wes.
Then I'm going, and I think this will be unpopular, but I'm going to go Grand Budapest next.
Okay.
After that...
Now, your reasoning for Grand Budapest is your least favorite.
Yes.
But what is your reasoning behind that?
It was one that I had trouble connecting with. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but
Was it because there were foreigners?
I don't think that's why.
That would be my reasoning.
I thought
I don't want to watch a bunch of people who live on the top of the fucking Alps or wherever they live.
For some reason, I thought that movie took his style and became so highly stylized and gimmicked that I lost the story within it and didn't connect with the characters as
So
deeply.
you're saying too far.
Yeah,
You want west to head back east.
Yeah, exactly. I think that it was a little too stylized even for him, even though I like his style. I think
It's
we lost
shit.
substance.
Shit.
Garbage.
Now, imagine this, though. You didn't know Wes Anderson, never seen any of his films, and you saw that one.
Yeah, I would say, wow, what a unique, cool movie. I would definitely have liked it.
Okay.
So I'm saying all of this as a fan of his work.
He's
so
competing against himself now.
exactly. Now, I am going to go. Oh boy, I think I'm going to go Darjeeling Limited.
Perfect.
I think. Yes.
And in my opinion, it doesn't matter which of those two are in the bottom.
Yes.
They're the
Then
bottoms.
next, I'm going to go Moonrise Kingdom at number, I think we're at 5, I think. Then, now it's getting difficult. I hope I'm not missing something. Then I guess this is where it gets really hard because I start to go in a thing where am I influenced by the fact that there are certain ones that I think are better movies, and yet there's other ones that I have a deeper connection to. So now we're in like 4 perfect movies in a way,
Okay.
and now I have to figure out how much my own personal connection
That's
to
why
said
you
movie
get the big
affects.
bucks, though.
Okay. I'm going number 4. Oh my God, this is so difficult, but I'm going to say Life Aquatic. Number 3, Bottle Rocket. Number 2, Tannenbaum's. Number 1, Rushmore. Even though I'm going to say of all of those films, I think probably Tannenbaum's is the perfect film. You know what I mean? That's his perfect work. But my feelings about Rushmore, when it appeared in my life, it was the first time we saw him use that style, because Bottle Rocket is just like a really well-written movie, but it doesn't have his unique style yet.
Not yet. Little taste of it here and there. Little listy, little,
Yes.
But I think he got a lot more comfort in who he was. I think he was still trying to make a movie then, you know what I mean? Instead of a Wes Anderson movie. All right, let's just say this. The top 2, she has, and I'm not saying which is 1 and which is 2, but is that everybody's top 2? Is there somebody that wouldn't say...
I have Bottle Rocket and Rushmore as my top 2.
And then we're...
Tenenbaums is 3.
I have Tenenbaums number 1.
Right, but then you have...
Yeah. And
what number 2?
Number 2 is Rushmore.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. No matter who you are, except for Chris, who, again, he saw that movie. I'm the same way with it. It was my number 1 for a while.
Yeah, me too.
I've had to let go. I've had to let go. And I mean that is, he got better.
Yeah.
He got even better than the movie I fell in love with.
That's why I even struggled going like, do I put Life Aquatic above Bottle Rocket? Even though I know that's not popular for some people. I'm surprised even Wes Anderson fans are like, well, that's not my favorite. And I'm like, it's up there for me. It's very close.
I think most people, first of all, I think they were turned off by the weird fish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That took him out of it. And Bill Murray gets a little you know what I mean?
Sure.
He's as Bill Murray as you can get in this movie. So, the thing that saves it for me is I love that soundtrack.
The music is great.
It just kills me. But it's not going to be in my...
It's almost...
It's not my top 3.
Yeah, that's why I have it as a 4, because I started to think about it. You kind of let Bill Murray do his thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a Bill Murray movie where we spend 90% of the time just focused on him being himself and reactionary and very funny. And so in that way, I feel like the challenges of, say, Bottle Rocket or Rushmore are greater.
Right. No, I agree 100%.
I think Moonrise Kingdom is my number 3. I
have no problem with that. That's a really fucking good movie.
I felt like that movie, just like the whole young love aspect is so just at camp.
It was
like
really
that.
sweet.
It's so good.
Almost uncomfortable, I thought.
Yeah.
Almost uncomfortable. Because they're so young.
Yeah. And
like these aren't 17-year-olds.
Right.
You know what I mean? These are like 13-year-olds at best.
And then Royal Tenenbaums, I saw when I was 9 in theaters. It was like it was the first Wes Anderson movie I ever saw. And at 9, I loved it.
Sure.
And it's just crazy that a movie like that style movie, usually like kids don't like that kind of thing. But
I don't know. I think if you took a kid to that movie, that particularly a weird kid, I don't think a dumb kid, is going to get any of these movies, but a smart girl will love these films.
I saw my brother and I watched Bottle Rocket. When that movie, was just out, so we didn't see it in theater, but we saw it like VHS, and we were laughing so hard. And we just kept rewinding parts. Like, we couldn't even get through the movie because we would just be laughing. And we're like, no, go back because I'm missing it. And we kept rewinding parts. And we watched the movie completely. And then we took the movie out and then took this to our dad. And immediately went, hey, we need to watch this right now. You are going to love this.
And they were both, like, really enthusiastic. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't want to watch a movie about fireworks. Because when two little kids come to you with a movie, you're pretty sure it's going to stink. But then, if you remember, I invited a bunch of comics over after that.
Yeah.
And then we all watched it again.
Yeah.
And then they were just fucking dying. But, we talk about this sometime. We were talking about this with Mendelsohn the other day of, seeing Spielberg. And now you're just like, yeah, he's done better. Like, no matter what Spielberg or Scorsese or Woody Allen is going to do, it isn't going to make your top 5 of theirs because they've got a bunch that are already your solid top 5s.
Yeah, even Tenenbaum's putting Tenenbaums at 2.
It's crazy.
I'm just like, that I know that that's like a personal choice, because if somebody said, hey, you could only ever see one of his films, I would tell you to see that one, because I think it's a perfect example of, from writing to style to casting to the whole group and everything, I think he nails it perfectly.
And yet, if somebody came to me and said, I want to get to Wes Anderson, I would say, start at Bottle Rocket and work your way right through.
Now we're here.
And Rushmore is just fucking amazing.
So good.
And I think I like Bill Murray much more in Rushmore than I do Life Aquatic.
Yes, because his loneliness and sadness is so funny to me in that movie, and it's not entirely centered on him, so you're excited every time he's on screen because you're like, oh good, this character is back.
Well, both of them, and it's weird because Wes made these when he was fairly young. Both of them are like the perfect thing about aging, that when a guy is, he's still part of life, he's just not at his physical and charismatic peak anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he hasn't moved into the next era of his life. There's plenty of places for you to go as you age, but star quarterback is not it anymore. And that's hard for a lot of dudes to let go of. And we have a president like that. You know what I mean? We have a guy now who still is in his warrior stage, despite being 71.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about him in Rushmore, when he dives off the high dive and that underwater shot of him, it's just
he just sits on the bottom, just depressing.
So funny.
Yeah.
Or like the shot of him in the elevator with Max, and he asks him how he's been, and he's like taking the flask out of his pocket, pouring it in the coffee, and you're like, well, I'm a little bit lonely.
It is only funny because it's Bill Murray. It's a really heartbreaking place that this fucking character is.
Yeah.
And the same with the other one. He's no longer the ocean stud. He no longer makes these movies that thrills people. Instead, they start laughing at him.
Yeah.
And he hasn't changed. The world has.
Yeah.
I think the thing I've enjoyed more than anything in a Wes Anderson movie, just in Rushmore, the fucking Serpico play. Well, the first time
it's hilarious.
It's I remember that more vividly than anything in any other movie, but it just stood out so much with the train set in the window.
All the plays are fucking crazy in that movie. They're all great. And now they're saying that cultural appropriation because he has a Japanese thing.
It's very weird.
Who gets it? Now, Vito, you have this story up on the iBang. You claim that the NFL is going to get rid of kickoff and punt returns.
Yeah, so the VP was on, the NFL was on, well, one of the VPs was on the Dan Patrick show, and he said that they had a meeting last week saying that because of injuries, they're looking to get rid of the punt return and kickoffs.
Not only injuries, but time. And it's not the game of football.
Yeah. But
I'd get rid of field goals too. Who gives a fuck?
But it's getting rid of the entire special teams department. But I mean, the kickoff, when you think about it, it's 20 players running full speed at each other. There's going to be injuries there.
Well, those guys had always, when I was a kid, they called the special teams the bomb squad because they were blowing up on the field and no one gave a shit because they weren't playing just that one part of the game. It is stupid. It's a flaw in the game.
And with like they said in the interview, with most returns end up at the touchback anyway, at the 25-yard line. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, even
anymore.
moving it to the 25 has done nothing for the game. It's boring.
And
what do you get? How many fucking kickoff returns do you even get a year? 3?
If that.
I think the last one people cared about was the Super Bowl one in what the Bears called Super Bowl. That was the last kick return I've heard anybody talk about.
And yet I forgot it even happened until you told me. I think the Buccaneers went like 20 fucking years without a kickoff return. 20 fucking years with no one returning
remember
a kick.
that being a...
Yeah, and I watched it when it happened, and oddly I wasn't thrilled. I was just like, whatever.
Finally.
Yeah.
Because that's
There it is.
They're on the board.
The only
let's
good
play some defense, boys.
The only good thing about that is then you don't have to hear them bring it up.
Ugh.
But then they always, whatever that record, that stupid record, whatever it is for your team, whether it's like if they didn't win a certain
have a
temperature,
save,
like whatever it is, they just move that up. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're like, not since this, or,
There's only been one.
yeah.
Like
You're
Mets fans, we didn't have a no-hitter for years, and then now it's turned into, well, now we need a perfect game. So it's just people just aren't fucking satisfied with
I hate
anything.
when they act like warm weather places can't play in the cold. Those people didn't grow up in San Diego. You know what I mean? They're from Michigan and fucking Texas.
Wait, what? A perfect game is, what's the difference between a perfect game and a
The
no-hitter?
no-hitter is there's no hits. A
Right.
perfect game is no hits, no errors, and no
walks.
Yeah, no walks at all. So you could have a no-hitter
yeah.
and walk people.
Right.
You could lose a no-hitter.
Yeah, there's been guys that have thrown no-hitters and walked 10 fucking dudes and then had 3 errors.
Doesn't sound as impressive then.
When I was at that Knicks game, Big J was excited because he saw his first triple-double. And he was still talking about, like, I've never seen one live. Dude just had a triple-double for an entire season. You know what I mean? Like, I can't get overly excited about this.
Yeah, there's also certain players where if you go to see them in a game, you're most likely going to see a triple-double. Like, if you go see a Russell Westbrook game when he comes to New York, you're probably going to see a triple-double.
Well, he wanted a Sixers triple-double. He doesn't pay attention to the stats of the other team. He's just Philly. He loves Philly, like everyone else from Philly that's moved away. They still love it more like it was their mom they left. Well, I guess they all did leave their moms, too. You don't take your mom with you when you move. Well, Vito will.
Yeah, I will. She'll come with me wherever I go.
If you just found out that you got a 3-picture deal with Universal and you had to move out to Hollywood, you taking your mom with you?
Yeah, she's coming with me. She's riding first class right next to me.
When you see TJ Miller and you see all these things he gets, you're every bit as good as him, but he took the shot. You ever kick yourself in the back of the head for that?
It does hurt, man. Especially when we look back at pictures of myself as a kid, you guys saying that should have been
unbelievable.
That should have been my moment.
I was looking at that Instagram pic the other day where he had the kitty cat face and he was the cutest, chubbiest fucking chubsy wubsy.
I know.
You could have been in any fucking movie. I mean, here's where you fucked up. Here's where you kept yourself from being perfect. You look more like a boy whose mom died than his dad died. You know what I mean?
Aw,
and that's the saddest.
So much worse.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine that world.
But I think it's sadder for a little girl, don't you, if her dad dies.
You think so?
Yeah. I think it's always the opposite that they're lacking.
Like daddy's girl versus mommy's boy.
Oh,
Jesus,
fucking
Vito.
disgusting.
Really gross.
And by the way, I'll tell you right now when we get into that kind of gross talk that you do, that Anderson Cooper is fucking filthy. I watched that interview that he did last night with this playmate, and he's like, "Did you see Barron's room?"
Yeah.
Who asked fucking questions?
Really creepy. Some of the questions
And
were...
did he compare you to Ivanka?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, he did.
He did. And he was like, didn't you think that was weird? And she's like, look, I feel like you're kind of twisting it.
I've got this new thing, though. That's the best.
I know.
I didn't know she was so young, though. She totally threw me off. I had her pegged as the next big thing.
I agree.
No. Here's what I think about morality, right? People always feel bad when they say they went against their morals, right? But if you're doing it because you want to, those aren't your morals. This is my point, right? So just because your parents live some way and put those things on you, then you're an adult. Like, she's a fucking playmate. He's a fucking reality star. What morals do they have that they can't bang together? You know what I mean? What is she holding on to? Something that she never fucking made up for herself.
Yeah.
She's got her little cunny hanging out in a magazine, right? And I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm saying that's a choice. What are you doing? And I still, after watching that whole thing, don't understand why she decided to talk about Trump. They never had a fucking fight. She said, I don't want to do this anymore. He offered her money right after he came on her. He said, here's some cash for you. That hurt her feeling, made her cry, because she felt like that made her into something that she wanted.
A hua.
Stop this fucking moral thing all the time, everybody. Have your own morals. But no one ever says, I've decided these are my morals.
Well, here's something that really bothered me is that I was watching CNN afterwards, and there was people on there saying, oh, I found this to be disgusting, like as though they found him to be vile. And then,
Which one?
This was certain women who were talking
About Trump?
About Trump afterwards.
Oh.
And one woman even was like, I feel like I have to take a shower after I just listened to this. And I was like, why? I mean, this is literally his business. This is consensual sex that he was happening.
Yes.
He was cheating on his wife, which is between him and his wife. If that's their deal, that's their deal. If it's not their deal, then that's something they need to have a conversation about. But it's two consenting adults having sex, and this is a guy who, bragged about grabbing someone by the pussy. Like, why would you be shocked by his consenting relationship?
I don't believe any of them. I don't believe any of the people on TV. I can't fucking trust them anymore.
It's silly. It's just
and that was, Anderson Cooper, who's tried to work himself up to be this big CNN journalist, couldn't have come off looking any worse. And I'm going to just say this, dishy. He's like us when we make fun of the dish.
He is. It was like a dish. It was like a dish moment.
But awkward, not even a fun dish moment.
The part when he asked, like, did he have any nicknames for you? And I was like, come on. Like, that's just weird. You just want to get something weird out of
I know. Did he have a nickname for your vagina? What the fuck do you care, Anderson?
Yeah, like,
again.
It just kind of feels like this is the least of our worries. Whether you like him or you don't like him, if you hate him, if you despise Donald Trump, this should not be a concern. Like, this is not a problem. This is just...
Oddly, it's my only concern. The other stuff doesn't bother me at all.
I saw that Stormy Daniels, she does like the cam, like the webcam
Yeah,
stuff.
this is even different than Stormy.
Oh, I didn't even realize it was different. I thought it was Stormy.
No. This is a
It's the
woman that he had a
playmate.
relationship with.
I forget her name. Kate McKinn? No,
I guess it was her.
I can't be it.
Yeah, this girl's in Playboy. Stormy Daniels is a straight up porn star.
Well, Stormy Daniels is doing webcams now, and if you pay extra, I think she'll talk about Trump on the webcam to you.
All right, count me in.
Cool.
See if she'll do it
I'll
during
do
our
that.
show.
I would love that.
Is she naked?
Yeah, she's naked. It's sex cams.
I wonder what she's charging.
I think it wasn't a high price. I think I saw something like $5, $4 a minute. I got to look more into it.
What?
That's $300 an hour. It's more than I'm going to spend.
But
Well, you're not going to do it unmasked with her, are you?
I was thinking about it. Did he have a nickname for your vagina at all?
A lot of these are nickname questions. I'm
this
gonna
is
pick a
a-
body part.
This is a weird one. So Apatow was on one of the TV shows. He's pushing the Shanley documentary, which I can't say enough good things about. And he said that Stormy Daniels was in 3 of his movies.
What?
yeah, I remember her from 40-Year-Old Virgin. He fantasized to her. She was in Star Wars when he was jerking off. So I remember that one specifically. I can't think of the other ones.
She started
Here's what
funny
you gotta
people.
do. Is it at your house?
Yeah.
If you had Ring, you'd be able to go back and see everything right now. I'll tell you right now, I don't know how people live without Ring. Ring's mission is to make neighborhoods safer. Today, over 1 million people use the amazing Ring video doorbell to help protect their homes. Ring knows home security begins at the front door, but it doesn't end there.
So now they're extending that same level of security to the rest of your home with the Ring Floodlight Cam. Just like Ring's amazing doorbell, Floodlight Cam is a motion-activated camera and floodlight that connects right to your phone with HD video and two-way audio that lets you know the moment anyone steps on your property.
See and speak to visitors, even set off an alarm right from your phone. With Ring's Floodlight Cam, when things go bump in the night, you'll immediately know where it is, whether you're home or away. The Ring Floodlight Cam lets you keep an eye on your home from anywhere.
Ring Floodlight offers the ultimate in home security with high visibility floodlights and a powerful HD camera that puts security in your hands. With Ring, you're always home. Save up to $150 off a Ring of Security kit when you go to ring.com/comedy. Ring.com/comedy. That's ring.com/comedy.
Boop, 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 boop. Everybody. Johnny Go-Go got his kid in Bennington College and
Oh, nice.
majoring in the Bennington show. It's the only college in America where you go there, study the Bennington show. There's going to be a pop quiz on Chris Stanley this Friday.
I'm going to ace this shit.
I bet I'd end up failing.
Is it about personal life?
Yeah, because I remember that day that we thought he died and we couldn't figure out
Oh my
where
God.
he was.
Where he lived and who to contact.
We had no idea.
I'd fail a quiz about my own life.
Chris, I'd love for you to come with me next Saturday night. Fairfield Comedy Club in Connecticut. Saturday, March 31st. 2 shows, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. FairfieldComedyClub.com. And Gail, you've got a big Gail Meets Girls this week.
I do. It's premiering Saturday at 6 p.m. East. I'm going to be talking with Jasmine Pierce and Mae Wilkerson. Jasmine Pierce is a writer for The Tonight Show. Mae Wilkerson is a comic. So, yeah, check it out. Saturday, 6 p.m. East, and it replays noon on Sunday.
I think it would be fun to have a stint writing for one of those shows.
I think so, too. I know that, again, it depends on your stress level, how you are creative, quick on your feet or in a room. There's so many factors because you also have to fight to get your joke on and all that kind of stuff. I know there's a lot of politics to it, but I've always thought it was interesting.
I would try to be the person who goes up with wacky cereals that you can't buy in this store.
Okay.
Here's our first one here. Oh, you won't see this in any store. Semen puffs.
Damn, I already wrote down penisos, and his is definitely getting on.
No, you can do both. Penisos is great.
That doesn't even make sense.
Here's one. I don't even want to try this myself. Scabbies. And that would be your job.
Yeah.
Coming up with things like that.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
And then the best thing is you put all this work into it.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, this sucks. This isn't good. And then later you have to be like, I can't believe penis cells doesn't make it on the air. And then you have to be upset about something that's that silly, which I think is funny.
Or it does make it on the air, and that's the one that the audience didn't laugh at. You're just stuck with one. Next box is mom panties. Nothing? Mom panties. It's not even a real cereal. Well, that's one we won't be using again. That was made by our writer, Glenn.
Glenn's just in the back. Fuck!
He's almost at the end of his... I forget what they call it in writing. It's not like a contract, but it's like a session or something. There's always a thing that there's something is coming up. Look how the two scurry off to fucking look it up.
Oh,
they're both
nice.
scurrying to look it up. Neither one of them found it.
No.
Oh, well, I'll be listening to this Gail Meets Girls.
Thanks. I appreciate
I
it.
can't wait for it. Vito, you didn't break anything? You just twist it?
Yeah, it's just a sprain.
Your mic is not on, Vito.
It's just a
You
sprain.
gotta turn your own mic on, son.
It's just a slight sprain. It should be good. I'm going to the doctor today. After the
Well,
show.
we'll all go with you.
For more.
I don't know. Does it seem like,
Yeah, I would
seem
like
like
to.
a group thing?
Mm-hmm. Whilst wait in the waiting room.
Do you like to do things solo or a group? Because I know Chris is a solo guy.
Yeah, I would say that there are certain activities that I would only do in a group scenario and not be comfortable doing solo.
Let's see if we can guess. All right. I'm going to say you would never go to a bowl by yourself. I'm going to say, and there are people who do it all the time because it's like practice for them.
It's literally the first one that I thought of.
Really?
The very first one I thought of is I have seen people go bowling by themselves.
Yes.
And then, but if a friend of mine is like, hey, we're doing this thing and like everyone's going to get together and we're going to go bowling, I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. That sounds like that could be fun.
Yeah.
But I would never, because you know why? Because I look over and I just think like, you're taking up just as much space as we are. You're just one guy with your own lane.
You better be really good. Like, you might be looking over. The guy's got a glove on. He's crashing.
Right.
You're like, oh, he's got a big thing coming up.
But just
I
a
don't want to fuck with
mediocre
him.
bowler doing
Yeah.
it? No. I don't think it's a good idea.
Like if you saw Chris Stanley bowling by himself, and he got an 86, then a 101, and then suddenly a 45. All right, give us another one for you, Chris. And we'll see whether we agree or not.
I have never done this alone, and thinking about doing it alone, I don't like the thought of it, like going to a concert alone.
A what?
Going to a concert by myself, not knowing anyone going to
It is an odd thing. I've never done it alone. Obviously, if you're in the industry, and by the industry, I am talking about the business.
I'm trying to think if I've done it.
No, I never have.
I mean, I've certainly just gone with one other person and it's not been like, you know, a big group of people. I mean, I haven't done that since I was young.
I've had to show up and announce shows, and I've done that by myself.
Right.
But you go to the stage door.
Right.
They walk you out to the mic. You say it, and you leave before they fucking hit a note.
Because it does seem like, particularly if it's a band that you really love, and then you're like getting into it, like singing lyrics, but like you're like by yourself, like when you like put your arm around another dude.
All right, but let's
like,
suppose this. Who's a band that you love and you've never seen before? Just a band that you're like, oh, I've always wanted to see those guys.
I've never seen Dylan live.
Okay, so let's suppose this. You and Jack have Dylan tickets.
Yeah.
Then suddenly he's called into work at the last second. Would you not go see Dylan?
I would try so hard to take someone else, first and foremost.
Can't do it.
And if I have...
It's last minute. You're driving there.
Oh, my God. I don't know, dude. I'm almost thinking I wouldn't go.
I guarantee you Vito could do it.
Yeah, somebody pointed out to me one time, like, concert isn't hard to go to alone because, remember, if you go alone, everybody's there for the same reason. So you all have that thing in common.
Right.
Isn't that anything that you could go to?
Like, with a concert especially, like, if you went to
people go to a bar alone, and that's a weird thing.
Yeah.
You know? And you've been at concerts where you just start rocking with the person next to you.
Sure.
Like at ZZ Top show. I mean, my whole row, we're doing all the ZZ Top moves. Do you got one, Gail?
Yeah, I have another one.
Yeah.
This is a specific meal. I will go to dinner by myself. I will go to lunch by myself. I'll go to breakfast, sit at a counter by myself. I'd go to a bar by myself. But I would not go to a brunch place by myself where everyone is there in groups. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like having an indulgent late breakfast with a cocktail. I think I would never do that in a million years.
First of all, this is stunning to me because it never even occurred to me that, because I've traveled, so I've done every meal on my own and never care about it. I have to eat food, is what I'm saying to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this may look odd to you, but I'm here because the human body requires food. Not as much as I put into it, but it does require food.
I don't think I could do restaurants alone.
You've never done a restaurant alone?
No, I've
done it many times.
It's something like, even when I go to a diner and I see people sitting at the bar thing by themselves, I can't do that.
Oh my God, I love it. I love doing that. But there's something about, like, imagine now also, it's a really indulgent meal. Like, you're eating like a French toast or like, you know, something big,
now,
grand.
It's a weird thing.
You've got a coffee and a cocktail and a water and all this stuff in front of you. I think I could never do it.
It's never come up in my world, but I would do it. I would do it. Here's Ron in Chicago wants to disagree right now. Ron, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I recently went to Book of Mormon and Buddy Guy and Johnny Lang. Solo seats are great because you can get one right near the front if you're by yourself, or if you're with a friend, if you're with a friend, you're not going to be talking during the show anyhow.
No, it's
So
very true. Same
Yeah.
with a movie. You know, what are you going to do? Turn around and go, oh, I love this song?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like the night that
Right.
me and you saw Guns N' Roses together, Gail, we were just yelling at each other's ear every once in a
Yeah.
while.
Good high five.
Like, how long is this show going to be? We're 6 hours in right now. It's very funny that he said that because when me and Florentine did the Rich Voss show up in Connecticut, I went to see how the tickets were doing like the day before. And there was just single seats on different places. Third row, another one in fifth row. And the places sold out, but you're like, I'm like, how does the computer not allow, you know what I mean? Why wouldn't you say, well, this doesn't make sense? But when I went there that night, I'm like, I'm going to look at those seats from the stage and see if I can see missing seats. There weren't.
Yeah.
People went as singles, or maybe two people went, one sat in the third row, one in the seventh. That happens at movies sometimes, and I find it really peculiar. I'll see a guy and his wife come in late to a movie, and then go, there's one down there for you, and I got this one.
Yeah, that seems strange.
Yeah, it's really
I wouldn't
odd.
do it. I would say, I guess we're not staying.
Chris in Philly.
Hey, buddies.
Hey, buddy.
So last year I went to I go to a lot of hockey games. I went to a Flyers game. We had really good tickets, and it snowed like a foot of snow that day. So the person coming with me couldn't make it. I lived in the city, so I was like, oh, I'm not going to waste these tickets. And I went into a depression for like a week because I felt like such a lonely bad.
It's all made up, though. It's up to you whether you're going to be depressed or enthused that you went and enjoyed a game. It really is up to you. All right, here's one for you, and I'm just thinking this now. You're down in the islands or you're in Florida, right? It's easy to go down to the pool area alone. It's easy to go out alone and dive into the ocean and swim around and come back. But to take a towel down there and lay on the beach by yourself?
Yeah. A little lonesome.
It's odd. Now, I love to see when a woman does that, though.
Yes.
But a guy comes off much creepier.
Yeah, and also it's usually the tan obsessed, I suppose,
Yes.
is the people who do it. That the purpose is not really a day on the beach, but the purpose is to be a certain shade after you get off the beach. And
Right.
that's why they do it. But I have never done it. I've never done it.
Never went and laid on the beach by yourself.
Nope, never.
Chrissy, do me a favor and look up who's at the stand with me. I'm hosting tonight, doing sets tomorrow night, and then next Saturday night in Connecticut. Go to fairfieldcomedyclub.com for tickets.
Tonight's show is sold out.
I'm not trying to buy tickets, Chris. I'm looking to see who I'm working with.
Big J. Okerson, Rich Voss, Sherrod Small, Monroe Martin, Tim Dillon, and more.
Wow, that's a great lineup.
Jesus, this is a hell of a lineup. And tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night is Dan Soder, Ari Shafir, Bonnie McFarlane, Monroe Martin, and Aaron Berg.
Man, they always
Jeez.
kill it.
Yeah, they
Look
fucking
at how pretty
kill it.
that picture is of the stand. Go back to the picture of the stand, Vito. I never
Yeah.
see it like when it's light out, so I never get to like appreciate.
that-
Look at how nice the tin ceilings look.
Yeah, they do just like a regular bar scene there. There's a guy Friday nights that works the thing, that works the bar, and he has his own playlist, and it's always the funkiest, best playlist in the world. I like hanging around
Yeah.
upstairs.
It's a
just to
cool.
listen to
It's a cool
music.
spot.
Hey, Tony. Tony, what's up?
Hey, Bennington. I had once gone to Shea Stadium to see a Met game by myself Saturday afternoon.
I mean, sports
Kind of fun,
reporters
but-
do that. Vito, you go to games by yourself?
I've never went to a Mets game by myself.
That surprises me. I would
Never.
think.
Yeah,
For
because
you.
people will think that he's Mr. Met. Here's Rick in Cleveland. Rick.
Hey, Bennington. What's going on?
Cool.
So me and my chick will go to amusement parks and places like Universal, and we'll go in the roller coaster lines, and if they always have a single rider line because they have to fill up all the carts. and we'll ride our roller coaster separately because we get on faster.
Weirdo.
That's really peculiar. That is peculiar. Isn't the whole idea is like you're experiencing it together?
Yeah, but sometimes I just want to look at a stranger and go, woo!
What the fuck, dude?
Dude, I don't want to end up me and a little kid in a ride together.
When I was an only child, I would go to, like, my mom would take me to a water park.
By the way, you're still an only child.
Well, I mean, when I was a child alone, my mom would take me.
When you were a child, you spoke as a child.
When they would,
I didn't put away childish things.
Yeah, he never has.
When we'd go to water parks.
His childish thing is his penis. How long before he gets mad?
So it's already happening because he just wants to tell his
but
story
you're going
so
to get
bad.
No,
tell your adult story that we'll just stare at you and feel bad.
It was just, it sucks going on a water park by yourself when everybody's in the 2-person tubes.
Make
and you're
a
just a fat
fucking
little kid by
friend,
yourself.
dude. Don't fucking bring us down. We're enjoying the day.
I'm
You
just
don't
saying,
need
that's
to
something that
mention
sucks
your
alone.
weight.
Why didn't you just fucking hang yourself when you were 5? Plus, they didn't let you go down that ride, did they?
They did. Sometimes they
Wasn't
weigh
excessive?
They weigh you before some water
If you were getting on one of those little planes, right?
Yeah.
And they said weigh you, would you just walk
I'd
out?
be like, I'm done. I'm
going to drive.
I'm
going to rent a car and drive.
I've had panic attacks about the 2-seat thing getting on the planes. Just thinking, are they going to make me buy 2 seats?
See, I think you had that panic about
the first time we flew.
That's why you always
to
like
Montreal.
to sit next to a friend.
And also, I think even when we went to Austin, because the particular airline has been known to ask people to either move to 2 seats, buy another seat, or bump them because they're like, you're too big for this seat. And Vito was like in a full panic. He's like, me and Chris are going to get kicked off
I wore
this plane.
Under Armour to hide my fat more.
No, you didn't.
I didn't
Shameful
tell
fuck.
anybody, but I was wearing a really tight Under Armour shirt under my.
Oh my God. I thought I had a little more room than I usually do.
So you basically had belly spanks.
Yeah.
That is so sad and cute. Both.
Yeah.
Cute, sad.
Didn't stop you from getting a pretzel before you got on the plane.
I had a pizza.
Did you?
Yeah, I love going to the artichoke.
He goes like this, Cinnabon sandwich. I go, there is no such thing. He goes, I make it my own. Vito, never tell us about when you were younger. It's always so sad.
It's too sad for me.
Only happy young stories like kitty cat days.
And just think how many times your mom could have got married, but some guy didn't want to raise you.
Damn. Well,
Dan Soder sits around and talks about like how he wanted everyone to marry his mom as soon as they started dating because he wanted a dad so bad.
That is so sad.
And I don't even know if it's true, but he gets every fucking woman in the room on his side.
It's really sad.
I get that.
Did you want your mom to just marry someone and have a dad?
She had a boyfriend of 10 years, and I'd be like, why don't you just fucking tie the knot already, dude?
Did you try to call him dad at different times?
I
Hey, Dad.
never thought it was a cool thing to do. I was like, I like our first name basis.
Why don't you just call him Mommy Boner?
I felt inappropriate.
Why?
I don't know. I just felt I didn't want to bring their bedroom life into our relationship.
Hey, Troy. Troy, what's up?
I just wanted to say my first concert I went to at the TLA on South Street, I passed out because I took a E pill from some random kid.
So you went by yourself and then you passed out. This is a story that you should be telling at a meeting. This is so sad. By the way, our good friend Artie Lange had his court date today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 17 years.
Oh,
They just pushed it back. But did you see the picture of him with his haircut and shaved?
I didn't. I'd like to see it.
Go to his Twitter, Artie Lange Twitter. And it's really adorable because... Oh, did he take it down already?
Maybe it was on his Instagram?
Try his Instagram. I thought it was Twitter, though. Somebody sent it to me last night. You're going too far south now. This wasn't 2 weeks ago. Well, that's his new look, but shaved, cut the hair.
Wow, he looks so different.
Yeah. But there was one that there was a still picture that he was so baby. Look, he looks really healthy.
He does.
It's
Yeah.
not so much that he was having drug problems. He just needed to shave.
Yeah, he needed to shave, a nice little haircut.
Could you imagine if these two guys cleaned up like that?
I know.
Got a queer eye for themselves?
My God, I would love for either of you to be on Queer Eye.
I would do Queer Eye. I would do a second.
No, you have to end up blowing those dudes.
That's part of it.
Shane, what's up?
Hey, Ronnie B. How's it going, bud?
Good.
Hey, man, I was going to ask you guys, what are y'all going to be taking part in at the Moon Tower this year? Are y'all going to be doing the Comedy 101? Or are you doing a set, or what are y'all doing?
I'm going to do some sets down there, and I'm going to host a show with New York comics. They don't have it all worked out, but I know that one, and I'm going to be doing an Unmasked. Probably shouldn't announce it yet, but since you asked, with Colin Quinn.
Yeah.
And I believe it'll be his first big heart attack sit down.
Yes.
You know?
Awesome.
So let's all thank Christ that we have this opportunity. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
Forward to seeing y'all there.
All right, we'll see you there, Shane.
Hopefully I'll catch up with Half Astronaut. I'd like to have some mushrooms.
Yeah, sure.
He's always down, I think.
I talked to Don. Vito will not be attending because of the mushroom thing.
I fucked up last year. I shouldn't have done that.
You thought it was a joke when you found out that you weren't going back, didn't you?
I did.
You thought it was just, nope. It's time for you to start being treated like a man. I'm not your mommy boner. I'm, your... Doesn't even make sense.
I hope you weren't going to say daddy boner.
Vito, your mommy boner's here. He says he has the right to take you home today. Did you ever go and do things just you and him?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Oh,
they were
so
together for
sad.
like 10 years.
So when they broke up, it was like another divorce for you.
Yeah, I found out. It was really sad how I found out, too. I got off a plane from my first trip, like I took by myself. And we were in a car, and he was just like, so me and your mom aren't going to be seeing each other anymore. And that was it. That's how I found out.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Did you cry?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Vito.
Vito, if you want to go...
sadder and sadder.
I know. That's why I can't stand Vito in this room. Chris doesn't know he's a wounded dog.
No, and when he
Vito
says
does.
that...
Vito's like, I used to have 4 paws.
Plus, when Chris says sad things, we laugh.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Because he's bad. Where Vito is good.
He's a sweet boy.
Yeah. When Chris tells you something sad, it's like if Hitler told you something sad. You're not going to feel so bad for him.
Like
normally, when Chris tells me something sad, I go, well, now you know how the Jews feel. Someone wrote and hung up, though, but I would have went to him before I go to these other calls. He said he went to Europe by himself for 3 weeks. I super admire that. I think that's the coolest.
Yeah, I've always thought about that, and I've always thought about the fact that as a lady, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking, the idea of traveling alone. I've never done it. I know a few women who have done it, but it was like a thing. Like they had to think about it. Their families were freaked out about them traveling alone.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I've traveled alone many times for business.
Yeah.
Which, there's a romance to that.
Yes.
But when you just travel like on your vacation, like I'm going to Hawaii, who with? Nobody.
Particularly
That's
if you're
cool.
going to a place where they're speaking another language, because you can really just be quiet in that
Yeah, you can
space.
just be listening, yeah. Glenn.
Oh, Ronnie B. So Weird Al, one of your best friends, is getting ready to go on this tour where he's doing all original songs, no parodies whatsoever. And I don't know anybody who goes as deep on Weird Al as I do, so I'm going to a concert 4 hours away by myself.
Well, I didn't know this about him, and he's going to be at Moon Tower too. And are these funny songs?
Yeah, but they're all his originals. Like, some of them are funny, like Frank's 2,000-inch TV and One More Minute. Some, the diehards love them.
I'm still going to be cheering for Eat It to be played.
Well, apparently he does do like a stripped down, like acoustic guys sitting on stools, kind of medley of some of those, like Eat It and stuff. But it's all, and Emo Phillips is actually opening for him, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, Emo's great, man. He's fucking hilarious.
The ill-advised vanity tour, I think, is what he's calling it. But he's really made it clear, like, hey, don't come here if you're looking for the big, normal Weird Al show, which I've seen before, which is phenomenal. But this one should be interesting.
Every time Emo comes up, I got to tell this story. So years ago, I'm doing the Ron and Ron show in in Florida. And I forget there was some athletic thing. So Tony Dorsett, the Hall of Fame football player, was in with us. And he's leaving, and Emo's the next guest. So Tony Dorsett is walking down the hall with another guy that was like his handler or his friend, and Emo was coming the other direction. And as they just passed each other, Tony looks at his wife, Tony looks at his friend and goes, "That's the ugliest woman I've ever seen in my life." Emo fucking hears it, stops, turns around. "What did you just say, motherfucker?" And Emo gave him some fucking shit.
Wow.
And Tony was like, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't think you were going to hear me. I was just talking."
Holy shit.
Emo basically backed down a Hall of Famer.
That's awesome.
And I would never bring that up if I saw either one of them again. This is just something that I'm just like, let it pass. But I think that every once in a while, I'm like, I don't know if Emo would have fought him, but Dorsett believes so. Dorsett's another one of the guys, beautiful runner when he was younger. Played for the godforsaken Cowboys, but I think he still has the longest run from scrimmage all time, like 99 yards. And he did it on Monday Night Football when everybody used to watch Monday Night Football. But he's one of those guys that's got the brain injuries as he's older, and he's only like in his, I guess, mid-60s. And it's just heartbreaking. Because you just think, best body ever, you know what I mean, to be able to do these things. Not just like, oh, he's got a great looking body, but a body that can do athletic things and a mind that helps you prepare for that. And then that kind of shit happens. It could be the death of football.
I know. When you think like what is happening with those injuries, where it's just like brain smashing into skull and bruising and what that causes.
Dude,
oh my God.
But I've been through 2 windshields myself, and I've been knocked out a couple times. And you know, I'll do a thing where I forget something, and I'm like, oh, is this the beginning of it? Is this the fucking payment?
I think you were sharper after those windshields.
Who are those two men that look the same?
That's Vito and Chris. You know who they are. They work with us.
Who's us?
It's Gail, your daughter.
My daughter.
We work together.
We work together.
Oh, God, guys, he's getting...
Where?
Serious?
Are we late?
This is radio. That's a microphone, right? You're talking.
I thought it was a banana. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought this microphone was a banana, so I may need a break right now. We got what coming up? Dish?
Dish.
Oh, it's Dish.
Dish. There's a town I know where the hipsters go called Bedrock. Dish. It's a swinging. I went too far with it. We love Dish, though. You know, we love to do.
Oh
we love to talk about Dish. We love to watch the Dish shows. And how do you know if it's time to switch to Dish and get their award-winning voice remote? If you've ever missed a kickoff because somebody was fumbling with the remote, Chris, it might be time to switch to Dish.
If you think it's weird that finding your favorite teams, movies, or shows means navigating a maze of menus and buttons, not menu buttons, that's not a thing, but menus and buttons, both, it might be time to switch to Dish.
Chris,
that's
because Dish is different. Chris, they're making it easier than ever to get to the TV you love. With the new powerful Dish voice remote, you just say what you want, and it's on. This is amazing to me. I'll be at my house, and I'll just go, Big Bang Theory, and the Big Bang Theory comes on. Not even what channel I want. I'll just say the name of the show. Monday Night Football, and I'm watching it. With technology like that, it's a better time than ever to switch to Dish.
To learn more, Chris, call 1-844-CALL-DISH. Go to dish.com or visit a local retailer near you. Either one, Chris. You can do all 3 of those things.
Write it down, Chris.
Requires internet-connected hopper. Other restrictions apply. For full details, Chris, 1-844-CALL-DISH. Dish, tuned in to you.
Put on your headphones, Jen's got the news. Let's dish to the gossip they're saying on the radio.
This week's Dish segment is presented by Dish. The TV's leader in voice technology. Dish tuned into you. To learn more and sign up today, call 1-844-CALL-DISH. Go to dish.com or visit a local retailer near you.
Very, very good. And who is your guest on Dish this week?
Today we have Vinny Brand.
Vinny Brand is here!
I'm very... Thank you. That's the biggest round of applause I've gotten all day.
But you get applause every day. That is good for you. Vinny, of course, runs a comedy empire as well as being a hysterical comedian himself. But even more impressive, he was just telling me about his daughter. She's going to be in Michigan next year.
She's going to run for Michigan track and field.
Wow.
It's fun.
Very fun. Michigan is probably the best student athletes in the world. I mean, it's an incredibly great school, but they're always competitive in every sport, too. It's like they have some old school Greek thing that you're supposed to do everything. But what exactly does she run?
She runs cross country.
Yeah.
She runs the 800 and the mile.
Yeah.
And then my younger one's I think my younger one's gonna follow in those same footsteps. My 14-year-old's also a runner.
Wow.
And they're so much fun to watch. And it's like, here's the thing: I've never accomplished anything in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like, I'm taking full credit for their shit. Like I am.
Yes.
And I'm the loudest guy in the gym. I'm just like, I'm pumped. I love watching.
Here's what's amazing to me about running. Because, when you look at a sport, okay, somebody learned that sport. Everyone on the planet runs. Everybody, when they were a kid, you measured yourself, run down to the fence, touch it, come back, whatever. So when you move into an elite status as a runner, it's different than any other sport.
Yeah, and I think it's because of that, there's a touchstone for speed. Like if you can recognize speed. Whereas if somebody masters a game that you could never do, you're just like, I'm sure that's crazy.
Or if someone says, well, I didn't play baseball because my dad was busy and he didn't teach me to catch, and I didn't get... Running, a child just does on their own.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was like, my initial friends, we were like, well, who's the fastest person in our neighborhood? Who's the fastest person in our class? You were always naturally do this yourself. And now Michigan.
And what they do for the athlete, if I could go back to college, I would try to be an athlete.
Sure.
I would fail, but I would try. I'm the most...
Because it's around the clock now, though. That's the other thing. Like, you don't have the same college experience as, let's say, a Chris Stanley did, where it was partying and dating. When you're a student athlete now, you're working at that all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
My daughter runs, both of them run all the time. The one going to Michigan next year, Christmas morning, open presents, I'm going for my run.
Yeah.
She's driven by herself. A lot of fun to watch, too. I mean, and the community of runners, like, she was a soccer player. So you watch a soccer game, and the team that loses, it looks like they've just had their liver ripped out. Every kid is miserable. You watch a track event, and the 10th runner coming across the line is getting hugged by the first, and vice versa. It's because it's a different mentality.
Yes.
And it's great. She went down to nationals last year, and you're with, like, the greatest runners in the country. And they're all so supportive of each other. It's just, I'm telling you, it's like, I don't know if I can make anything funny out of it. But
No, you
happy.
don't have to. I get it completely. I grew up, my brother ran track, and then I went to the Penn relays when I was a kid, and I'm like, well, track is about the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous sport that we only pay attention to every 4 years for some reason.
Yeah.
For the Olympics, because you can't make money out of it. But like I said, it's the purest thing we have. That's why the Olympics got started. They wanted to say who's the fastest before anything else. That's the first thing that matters.
And I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm doing it almost single-handedly. I'm making track such a fun spectator sport.
Yeah.
Here's why. Okay, so you go to these meets, right? And everybody's rooting for their kid, whatever, right? So, my kid runs a mile. She's done in under 5 minutes. And so you go home, right? Now, I'm watching every meet. I'm picking people. Like, there could be a race or a hurdle or a throw. I have nothing to do with it. I'm picking an athlete, and I'm going nuts. And I got like 20 people next to me all going nuts for this race. And, like, I'll tell you, like, I went to Michigan. They opened up their new indoor sports facility. So for whatever reason, it's beautiful, $180 million, and the track meet going on, and no one's yelling. And I'm up in the bleacher, and I'm like, oh, rah, rah. And next thing you know, there's a whole section's going nuts, and this cameraman next to me goes, I've never seen anyone like you. I'm like, dude, I'm here. This is the best stuff ever.
Right.
And I had people going crazy. So I'm single-handedly making it a fun spectator sport.
Any sport
You have
could be
to make fun. You know, when
Yeah.
people say they have fun, they're lazy. You have to make situations fun.
The only thing I did learn about making sports fun, like if you're a football fan and you go watch the Philly Eagles
Champions?
play the New Jersey Giants, all right? When you go watch that, you can say Philly sucks if you want.
Yeah.
You cannot in a track meet. Ohio State sucks.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I didn't realize that.
Frowned upon, Ron.
I still kind of think Ohio State sucks, though, under any circumstances. Under any circumstances. Chris, never got involved in any sport in your life?
Played some baseball when I was younger, but other than that, nothing.
What
Nothing.
position?
First base and then left field.
Oh, okay, big kid.
Oh,
Big
yeah,
kid.
yeah,
Let's put
exactly.
him at
With the baddie at first.
Yeah,
So
put him at first.
I'm gonna tell you. So I played sports right badly. My daughter, my oldest daughter, who's a comic, very very funny, was dating a guy that I hated. I mean, I so wanted to run him over with anything. I hated this guy so bad. So, and he was a go nowhere guy. He was, just a zero, a complete. Allie, if you're listening, that guy was as close to a zero as it's a waste of genetic material. Anyway, so we're at my kitchen table one day. I'm just looking at him. I want to throw up on him. And I go, so what's your story? He goes, what? I go, what are you going to do with your life? And he goes, well, I should have played professional baseball but I gave it up. So I'm like, so now I sit up. I'm like, oh. So you had an opportunity to play professional baseball? He goes, well, I played Little League up until I was 8, and I was the best in the league. I'm like, you're an idiot!
Yeah. the odds of playing professional baseball are about the same as the lottery. I mean,
Also,
it's a long shot.
I would imagine too, when you're talking about Little League, like you can be athletic at a certain juncture of your life.
Small
like
kids.
For me,
Yeah.
when I was young, I loved track and I loved running and I loved it in elementary school. And I was like the fastest girl in my class. And my coach was like, there's a school. It's called Admiral Farragut. It's a military school, but they give like scholarships. And he was like, I really see you going there in high school. I could get you a full ride if we like continue and we work at this. And it was like about the time it was like middle school, and I was just like, so what do you think about this year? And he was just like, I don't think it's going to happen for you.
Yeah,
because he was like, you are not growing at the rate of,
Right.
like you were tall at that age.
Yes.
And you were fast at that age with the females in your class. But now he was like, you're pretty short and you are developing as a woman, not as a tall, thin person. So I was like starting to get short and curvy. And he was just like, I'm sorry that I told you then that we could do this, but you don't have it, kid.
When Peyton Manning was, ending his career and he was in tears, we all had that at different ages. Everybody had that moment where like, I was good until I got to middle school, or I was good until I got to high school or college. And sooner or later, that's just the end of the road for you.
Yeah.
There's nothing but pain at the end of that.
And a lot of people, because they're developing, and then they suddenly discover that beer and cigarettes are delicious. And then that takes you out of the game.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be so focused. So you can't do anything.
That's literally what happened. Like, I was full-time playing sports, and then I was like smoking, going to concerts, girls. And you don't even realize you're making a choice. But the choice is being made because other people aren't doing those things.
Well, that always fascinates me about the sports in particular that you have to start so super young, like gymnastics, where you're like, or ice skating or anything like that, where you have to go like, you still like the thing that you liked when you were 7 years old? Isn't that weird? Like, that's already
Swimming
strange.
is one like that. Like, every kid likes swimming, but after a while, you're like, I am exhausted from swimming. It's every day. I've been wet now for 20 years. I can't take it anymore.
Well, it's the thing too. Like you don't realize until you see the funnel, right? So I'm coaching 5-year-old soccer now.
Yeah.
At St. Mary's Soccer. It's Catholic, 5-year-old intramural soccer, just like Jesus wanted.
Yeah.
And every parent is convinced that their kid is going to be a superstar. And I try and tell them, listen, your kid's future possibilities still include soccer superstar or felon. Why don't you just take it easy and see how they develop and make sure they go and have fun? So, you know, I think when you get to a certain level, those athletes, my daughters both love to run. Like they love it. And my other one, my 14-year-old, a rider, a horseback rider, she's very good at that. So she might focus on that. She's awesome at that sport. But you got to love what you do when you got to do it all the time.
Well, when you were coaching kids, the most that you could hope for is that one day they'll become a fan who understands the game that they're watching. If you're coaching kids playing football, you're like, someday you'll be able to watch this game on TV and understand why they're doing this. You're not going to play at that level, you know, but you won't be some dummy going, why did they do this? You'll get it now.
Especially football, you're actually coaching kids saying, listen, someday you'll understand that you had 9 concussions.
Yeah, I know.
You don't understand it now because you're young and dumb.
Well, there's a lot of players that don't want their kids to play football.
Yeah, it's
they
getting
want them
less
to play
and less.
soccer. You know what I mean? They're like, but basketball seems to be a sport that, lifestyle-wise, is the best. You dated a professional basketball player.
Yeah,
Jen.
yeah.
Was his life constant basketball?
Yeah, it was.
Or was there a lot of fun?
Even like when they weren't like on the off season, it was still like basketball. I mean, like they have like a couple, like, oh, I'm going to Spain, or like
Did he
they
have doubts? Was there pressure about, can I stay in this game?
Yeah,
That's the thing that we don't understand. Most athletes are playing with fear every single day.
Yeah.
Like, is this other guy going to come in and take my place? Could I get hurt and never get back into it? It's much more stressful than it looks from the outside.
And it's also funny because how often do you hear, particularly when it has to do with what athletes are paid, people who are fans of that sport are like, oh, you get this kind of contract, you're making millions. And I'm like, their job is difficult. You cannot do it.
Yes.
They're paid that way because also people consume it because they're that obsessed. I mean, like, there's a resentment that they get paid well for a job that if they're lucky, they could play for a couple years. If they're lucky.
Yeah. All right, what dish you got, Jen?
So Justin Bieber, he has a new supermodel girlfriend, Baskin Champion. She's 22. They're saying
it's all over with the
what happened?
So him and Selena broke up.
Very good. We don't.
I apologize.
We don't worry about that.
That was me.
So him and Selena broke up.
She got a little doughy.
Yeah,
she got doughy.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Did she?
Yeah, they were body shaming her. She got a little doughy, and she was out on a boat. And,
she's on vacation right now.
She seems so slight to me. Like,
there's
how
another
much
thing.
dough could
You
that
think
be
to
on
be
her?
a pop star would be the funnest thing in the world, and the second she put on an extra, I'd say 2 pounds. Her own people attack, her own fans attack.
So what is this? Pictures of her?
Yeah, she was on a boat on vacation.
It's a video.
They're
saying this is doughy?
That's not the doughy picture, Chris.
This cannot be doughy.
But she was standing up to the body shamers. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
All right, now who is the Biebs with?
Baskin Champion.
I never heard of her.
Sounds made up.
That's her name?
Yeah.
I hate her.
Baskin Champion. Hi, I'm Baskin Champion.
I was a Baskin Robbins champion for 5 years. People were very impressed. And also very doughy. So he's kind of a pop star. I don't know where these young supermodels come out of. I'm never aware of them.
She looks like she's done some Sports Illustrated stuff. So is she like a Sports Illustrated model?
I'm looking it up.
You have to get to, before I know who you are, you have to be dating Trump. That whole crowd, I seem to know.
She's just an LA model, not
a supermodel.
Not a supermodel, just an LA model.
All right, what's the next one, Jen?
So Chris Evans and Jenny Slate are officially over. He confirmed they split recently in an NY Times interview.
I love Jenny Slate.
I know. I thought that was kind of like an interesting matchup. Now, wasn't this like a thing where it's like she left her husband and then was with him?
I think
there
she
like
was
a
leaving
thing
her
like
husband
that?
anyway.
I think no, that was
Vinny's on the bench with this. He's like, I don't know.
You know, here's my problem with all the star news. For whatever reason, I find myself just profoundly not giving a shit.
Yeah.
Like, I can't help it.
Do you follow political stuff though, or
A little bit. I mean, listen,
you follow your neighborhood?
Nah.
What's going on there?
I'm just an egomaniac. I'm kind of interested in what's happening with me.
Yeah.
With Bieber. Okay, you're dating a supermodel, right? Of course you are.
Yes.
You're Justin Bieber. Like, that's not even news to me. You're not going to hear Justin Bieber dating some plumber's daughter.
Right.
It just isn't going to happen.
So,
right?
what is the thing where people like to live through celebrities?
I think it's
vicariously.
vicariously through. I think that it's like you said before about athletes. People look up to them and wish that was their life. You know,
Yeah,
like maybe their failed dream.
But see, here's the thing. Like with Michael Jordan, I couldn't tell you if he had kids. I couldn't tell you what his wife looked like. I like him on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And the same with Mick Jagger. I think Mick Jagger has probably been with 1 million people, and he's got 18 kids. I don't know any of them. They could walk down the hall here. I wouldn't know who any of them are.
But I think it's interesting, the stuff that when you can't help but know about it because pop culture like seeps into your brain,
Right.
and you're like, you're making me know this. Like
Yes.
you made me know this.
And this is what happened to me. Because of pop culture and Twitter and Facebook, everybody chimes in. And 50% of it is just pure hate. Right?
Yeah.
So I just get to the point where it's like, all right, leave Bieber alone. Right? I mean, you know.
I think that's probably true because I don't seek out like celebrity gossip, but I know so much more of it now because I think because of things like Twitter.
It pops up
and
in
it
your
pops up
thing.
and people are discussing it. But it used to be if you didn't watch shows like that or if you didn't buy those types of magazines, you would not know that thing. You would never know that thing.
Did you know who Meghan Markle was before?
I did. I watched her show.
Yeah.
I didn't know who she was.
What is she up for now? What's her big deal now?
Well, she's not acting anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, no?
Yeah, but they have a show coming out. Well, she's
But
not
why
going to
is
be
she
in
in
it.
the news?
Oh, she's marrying the prince.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Prince.
How the hell do you not know
wait,
that?
You know what? I was funny. These ladies have told me that how many times?
Yeah.
For some reason, the name doesn't pop in my head.
You hear about this Obama guy? He was president for a while.
Now I'm the idiot, Chris. Now I don't know what I'm doing. But I'll tell you this, I don't even like the idea of princes and princesses. I feel like we're past that by now.
Yes.
You know, I saw the Prince of Saudi Arabia. I'm like, it's how can we still have the Prince of Saudi Arabia?
I know.
Why
it
wouldn't they
does
say,
sound
let's have an
weird.
election?
But I think
People love it.
I think the prince in Saudi Arabia still does a prince job.
Yes.
Whereas the princes in
Yes.
England, their whole job is just being the prince.
Yes, that's true. The Prince of Saudi Arabia makes government decisions. He's
Right. Yes.
writing that. Where the Prince of England is a greeter at a, you know what I mean? He's
I
Mickey
know.
Mouse. You know what I mean? Like he's Mickey Mouse at Disney World.
I watched the show The Crown, and so like the queen gets like a red box of all everything that's going on in the world, different government issues that are coming up and decisions, and she has to be up on all those things. But it seems like the only thing she can do is like go to someone and go, I strongly disagree with that, and they're like,
Yeah.
and they have to decide if they're going to listen to her.
Yeah.
But like I'm like I feel like she's doing a lot of prep work for stuff that she doesn't get called on a lot. Like you don't really care about her opinion, but she's got to be like, I've got to read all this shit because that's just what they do. You know what I mean?
But what if she disagreed, let's say, like, I don't like what our country's doing? She probably could destroy somebody's political
Yes,
career.
that is like the thing is that she can give her opinion and she can use her influence, but she has no like official say. She doesn't get to like, I don't believe overrule anything. And is she still kind of the like in charge of the church, like the Church of England and the way it runs?
but
I know that used to be a
There's
thing. I don't know if that's still.
Look, there's more atheists in England than anywhere else I've ever seen before. They almost laugh about religion over there.
Yeah. Except
We're
for
way
the,
more
the queen,
religious.
like the queen is probably their
Yeah.
most religious person.
We don't go to church as much, but we're still very like, oh, I don't play that.
You're like-
I don't play
like,
that.
I don't wanna
Because we're all hedging our bets.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah, I don't want to back anyone
I'm a good
first
person.
here.
I'm a good person.
I know that much, and I will be rewarded. That idea is
All
hilarious.
right, what's this lady's name? I'm never going to forget it again.
Meghan Markle.
All right.
Meghan Markle.
So is she going back to Howie Mandel's show I know he got rebooted. She's going to go back with a briefcase. She should have her own work.
Yeah.
Is that where she's from?
Yeah.
She originally
She was, yeah.
She was a briefcase girl?
She was a briefcase girl.
See what I'm talking about? That's how uber rich people find somebody.
Right.
Okay, so you're telling me the Prince of England one day got up and said, "You know what I'm looking for in a girl? I'm looking for a girl that can carry my attaché."
The new coats will be in there, though. No, you can see she's a beautiful person, but we never would have picked her as a princess.
No,
there was like 30 of them. Now, who's the girl that with Donald Trump Jr.?
Oh, that's Aubrey O'Day.
No, I hadn't heard of her before, but she's dated famous person after famous person after famous person.
She's dated, well, currently, I know she dated Pauly D, but then they're saying she also dated Russell Simmons.
Holy shit.
And then Donald Trump Jr.
And Donald Trump Jr.
And those three people have nothing in common except for
famous as hell.
Celebrity.
Now, she's of mixed race, right?
Yeah, she's
Meghan Markle. Yeah,
Meghan Markle is, yes.
And this is a big thing in it because it's never happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time one of the kings or queens have stepped outside the box.
What are the races that she is?
She's Jamaican. Her mom's Jamaican. Her dad is like, I think he's like English, Irish.
Yeah.
Just white.
So all things that England has owned one point or another. You know what I mean? Like they can't act like, oh, we don't like Jamaicans.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is this is the first kind of little dip of chocolate in the history of that bloodline. That incestuous bloodline.
Well, the official dip of chocolate. I'm sure someone's tasted the semi-sweet somewhere in a back room.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was like a lot of rumors about the Queen's husband.
Right.
What's his name again? I can't think of his name.
George?
Petey?
No, it's not
I'm
Petey
thinking of
or
a guy
George.
from my neighborhood. Edward. He's Edward, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he was supposed to be like, he was a military guy and he was like a player and he was known for,
stepping out.
Phil? Yeah, but he can't bring those
Yes, and I saw him tell you when you read it. But you tried to pretend.
Yeah. Why didn't you say Vito said it? Vito, you stand up and you give the answer.
It was me. It was me all along.
It'd be
Philip, yes.
Did you know that for a fact, or did you look it up?
No, I know that. I try to keep up with the Royals.
Okay, why?
I don't know.
You'll never be royal.
It's a running our blood.
You have a better shot of Justin Bieber.
Seriously, you got a better shot of being the king of chicken wings somewhere. Starving now. We never get wings anymore,
How
Chris.
come we don't have any wings
It's
here?
been 6 days since you ordered wings for us.
You gotta get more wings.
I've had it with you.
Tommy want wingies.
Now you're mixed race, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like point of pride for you
It
now?
is,
Like-
yeah, it is a little exciting.
Yeah.
You're excited about the...
I'm excited that, someone else in the royal family is representing for, black people.
Each of your parents, what do they consider themselves?
West Indian.
So neither one of them considers themselves black.
No, definitely not my dad. He just not.
He's a little racist.
Yeah,
He's like, hey.
He should be the one who does that.
I think she looks a little bit like Meghan Markle, really, when you think
She
about it.
really does.
She's very pretty girl.
I don't know. Let me see you with a briefcase. I'll be able to work it out completely.
Dude, I feel like
Yeah.
this is almost like a movie. Like she could be the stand-in or something for Meghan Markle, and then she falls in love with the prince. It doesn't seem like
I
a
would love
rom-com.
that. Yeah.
And
Would
my
you wanna
type
be
is
with a
gingers
prince?
too. Yeah,
She
that would be
does like a
nice.
ginge.
Yeah.
I like a ginger.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well,
She
he
would
likes
be
a ginger.
Oh, I will introduce you to Eastside Dave. You'll be crazy about it. There's another good friend of mine, Bozo. You'd love him.
Vinny Brand's in studio. Vinny is performing tonight, Friday, March 23rd, and Saturday, March 24th at the Stress Factory.
That's going to be tonight, Chris?
That's tonight, yeah.
Good.
That's at the Stress Factory in New Jersey. Go to stressfactory.com for tickets to all shows at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick.
Jen, by the way, lives near you, loves your club. Loves it.
Love it.
Wait, what do you have?
I love your club.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
Stress
thank you
Factory.
very much.
Yeah.
Are you coming to see
I
me?
know. I have to go.
You know what? I don't want to hear it.
No.
I know.
Unless you have a date with one of the royals, I don't want to hear it.
George Brett is the only royal.
I want you to
would
come to
date.
my club with a briefcase and a sassy little red dress. Where are you going this weekend that you can't come?
No, I want tomorrow maybe.
Try to be committal so that people listening don't, feel compelled to follow right along. I'm gonna have
You went there to his club with your mom, right?
Yeah. I went
Yeah.
with my mom. We sat in the front row.
You've been there a couple times.
I went. It was when Colin was there. Colin Jost.
Let me tell you what she does.
Oh,
All right,
yeah,
so
she loves
she
Colin
comes in the
Jost.
club,
Yeah.
and she comes in dead last. I had never met her before.
Yeah.
And she's going to have a terrible seat. All right. And she just kind of walks up to me like demure, almost cute, right? And she goes, yeah, I work for Bennington and I'm not sitting here. And I'm like, oh, right away. We threw people out of the front row. Like, she was so cocky about it. It was
Yeah,
so,
I know. That's her. She's
her.
pushy.
I mean, she is ballsy. You know what I mean? The confidence on her.
I also saw her open a beer bottle with her teeth. Not a lot of people would expect that out of her. But just like that, just out of her teeth and slammed it down.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, don't do that to your teeth. What the hell is wrong with you?
She's from Trinidad. And I'll tell you something else. And you're with your mom.
Yeah.
They race up palm trees to see who can get a coconut first. I was down in Trinidad. They go up a palm tree like you couldn't believe. Bring it down, 4 shots, and you're drinking. They got a big. Is it a machete that you guys over
it was
there?
a machete.
4 shots. And you're drinking sweet coconut milk.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'll have you open for me. I'll put a coconut tree on stage.
If you do that, she'll go right up it. You cannot believe how fast she is.
How old are you?
26.
And you're not dating anybody now?
Nope.
That's what. See, when you see a rude, cute girl not dating someone, don't you know she's batshit crazy?
Oh, yeah.
A pain in the ass, right? In other words, someone like Meghan Markle got taken off the market by a royal because she knew how to play her cards right.
Yeah.
This broad to my right, she's dating some NBA guy and she blows it because she's probably high maintenance.
What made you two break up? What was it that you did that you walked away from the $1 million deal?
Yeah.
I just couldn't put up with the cheating. The other,
You gotta put up with that.
Oh, wow.
That's part of it.
Get in the Mercedes-Benz and shut up.
Here's the thing, and I respect because you have certain things that interest you, and you have to decide what is more important to you. Because she likes a guy, a little money, a little doing well for himself.
And that's
a
also
little
the guy,
fame, a little confidence.
right? And that's also the guy that's going to have some side.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
You know,
you see
that makes sense.
this happens all the time is that, some women are like, I put up with, here's where the
Right.
line is. Don't cross the line, but you got to do your thing. And I'm going to get paid.
And you know
I'm
who
gonna
thought
get
that?
paid.
Melania thought that.
Yes.
Hillary thought that.
Yes.
And they moved ahead. Chris's girlfriend has his full loyalty. Who cares? Who cares if this bum is hanging around the house 24 hours a
wishes he
day? That's a nightmare.
Oh yeah, no one can possibly enjoy that.
This is how you have to approach it if you're a guy. Now, look, obviously, all right, when I'm on stage, all right, there's a lot of broads in that room looking at me going, okay, maybe not. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make it, if any girl ever flirts with me after, first of all, I talk about my family on the show, right?
Right.
So if a girl flirts with me, I always say to myself the same thing. Okay, I know I'm not Tom Cruise. So this girl is just crazy. She's after something else. And so I will never cheat. A, I love my wife, but B, I also know that like a girl that goes out with a married dude, like a famous married dude, she's just going to derail you at some point.
Right.
Right? It's just a train wreck waiting to happen.
Now,
So-
this is what happened to Donald Trump Jr., right? He's dating this girl, and I don't even know her name. Who's she?
Aubrey O'Day.
Now, here's what she did. She put out a song about breaking up with him called DJT. Like, she was hinting at this for years until now she's ready to... Why are you so mad at this guy? You dated for a while. Why are you going to spill the beans?
Well, she's crazy.
She is?
She's a crazy person.
She's super bright. She knows where the meal ticket is. She's cashing the ticket in. That's exactly what she's doing.
She tweeted the day after the election, I have some news that could bring down the whole Trump family.
What, did the son dated someone?
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
She tweeted that and then deleted it, and then this came up now.
No one is ever going to say, I judge that man by who his child dates.
Yes.
That doesn't happen
His son
in
is
America.
a whore master.
Yeah.
He's no longer president.
Well, this is the thing, right? So now you got the stripper broad trying to bring him down.
Yep.
Yeah.
The guy is Teflon. Nothing's going to bring him
he's
down.
the Teflon Don.
He is, because people they're at the point, the people that like Trump are at the point where they're like, I really don't care. I don't care what he does. I'm telling you, he could walk into the White House and just pistol whip somebody. And
He may.
Standing
He
right in
may,
the way.
too.
Well, do you remember when he said that thing early in his campaign when he's like, I could walk down Fifth Avenue and like
shoot somebody.
Yeah, and you guys would still be And everyone went, well, I guess this is it. And when it wasn't, I went, so he was right. And that's where we're moving forward. Like, he knew that about himself.
Here's the thing, though.
He's doing fine.
He's got more energy than anyone I've ever seen in my life. And I know certain New Yorkers who get up to have a fight every day and because it moves their career. Howard used to do it. O&A used to do it. Joan Rivers would do it. They get up and go, who am I going to fight? Because they don't take it as personal.
Right.
Like, who can I have a battle with? Because I can show how sharp I am. And that's Trump's thing every day. He goes, if he's not having a battle, he's like, people don't know how good I am at this, you know?
I think there's something there.
Yeah.
He wants to be the guy that's at the center of the problem.
Right.
So you got to fight someone if you're at the problem.
Well,
Right.
He seems himself as like a television thing. Every episode has to have a new person for him to battle. Every day is a new episode of the Donald Trump show, and he has to have a problem and then overcome it and win. And I think, we talked about Twitter being negative. I don't think he cares. You know what I mean? Just like a shock jock never cared about who doesn't like him. They cared who likes him, right? Think of how many people who's the biggest pop star of all time, right?
Michael Jackson.
Thriller sold like 30 million copies. Look how many people there was like 270 million people that didn't buy the album.
Right.
He didn't focus on them.
Yeah.
He focused on the people who bought the album. I see Trump being the same way. He's like, how do I entertain the people who voted for me? Now, I saw Ann Coulter was mad at him this week. He'd better worry about that a little bit. You know? Those are the kind of people that you don't want to lose. But if, I don't know, MSNBC doesn't like him, I don't think he gives a shit.
Yeah. I actually think he wants MSNBC to not like him.
Right.
Because the people that like him do not like MSNBC.
Right.
So, that's actually, that's good for him because they hate him. And I think that the guy thrives on being hated as well because there's just every day, not fighting one person. He's pissing off as many people as he can without losing his core.
Right.
And his core wants to piss off the same people.
Yeah, his core is not going to get up in the morning and go, are the gays going to be on our side or against us? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think they have any problem with that. Or the Mexicans or the blacks. No, they don't have any problem with those people being upset with them.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this conversation is going to pack my club tonight.
Well, you deserve it, buddy.
Vinny Branson Studio. Vinny's performing tonight, Friday, March 23rd, and Saturday, March 24th. Go to stressfactory.com for tickets.
Yeah.
So good to see you, my friend. Thanks for stopping in.
Had a blast.
We'll do this again real soon, okay?
Yeah. Can we plug you? You're coming up. You got.
Yeah, I'm going to come to do your club.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too.
I've never seen you do an hour.
Me neither. Should be fun. So that's in, what's the date on that? Do you know, Vinny?
April 27, 28.
Great. April 27th and 28th. All right, Jen, thank you so much.
No problem. This week's Dish segment is presented by Dish, TV's leader in voice technology. Dish tuned into you. To learn more and sign up today, call 1-844-CALL-DISH or go to dish.com or visit a local retailer near you.
All right, that's it for us, kids. We're out of here. Make sure, if you're in Connecticut or the surrounding areas, that you get tickets to come see me perform at the Fairfield Comedy Club next Saturday, March 31st. 2 shows, one at 7, one at 9. FairfieldComedyClub.com for tickets and more information. And then we'll see you all again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!